Adam, you may be all alone. Looking at the numbers, no one wants to listen this morning. Usually we've got a few more people by now. So good morning, Adam. It may just be the three of us. Thank you, Adam. Skeens, because I have him under contract a little longer.
Yeah, I wouldn't go after Scooble.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday. You know, we're just 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. That's how you can follow us. Stay in touch with us. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing all right, David. All things considered, I am doing all right. This week has kind of flown by. A lot has happened, outside of work for me, so it's been a crazy week.
Yes, it has.
But I think I said yesterday, my son had a little issue. He had to go to the hospital. He had an appendectomy, and he's doing fine. So a little scary moment. It allowed me to do something I don't do very often, communicate with my ex-wife.
Well, hopefully everything on all fronts went well.
It did. I feel badly for she and he because of this, they were heading to Athens this weekend for Georgia, Texas, and now that's not going to happen. So,
wow,
I feel badly for the both of them because I know how much both of them love the dogs. And my son and I went to the cocktail party a couple of weeks ago, so he was going to take in the cocktail party and a night game against the Longhorns.
Wow.
All in basically a few weeks' time there.
Well, hopefully Jake's going to do okay.
He'll be fine. He's doing good. Thank you.
Good.
But so yeah, it was that, and I said it to you off air. No one cares about my golf game, but I played really well. For me, I played as good as I can play on Friday. I had a great round.
You did.
For good golfers, I had a great round. I mean, I was 3 over par for 18 holes. I can't do any better than that. Yesterday, I was right back to my old self. Nowhere close to my damn handicap. It is a grueling game. It really is. How you can do everything right one day and not seemingly do a damn thing right the next day.
I have the cartoon in which someone asks, what's the purpose of golf? And the, person says, well, it's to get the ball in the hole in as few strokes as possible. And the other person says, well, why play at all? And the other person's wandering on the course going, well, why play at all?
Why play at all?
Why play at all?
But then, you make a couple good shots, a roll a putt in, you get skin for it, and you're like, see, that's why. But it is something that makes me appreciate good players, the professionals is a whole nother level, but just the guy who goes out and shoots, 73 to 77 damn near every time he plays. Like that's quite remarkable to me because I think I have that, but I only think that because the fact of the matter is I don't.
Right. Maybe twice a year, but otherwise, you live in a totally different area code. Hey, I got a question. Can a player be making headlines and making noise and yet at the same time be right? I mean, is A.J. Brown just my diva wide receiver?
Oh, he is your diva wide receiver.
He's definitely my diva wide receiver, but is he my diva wide receiver who's also happens to be right? And what A.J. Brown is pointing out publicly is that, listen, we may be winning, but this ain't going to continue if we keep playing offense like this. This is ridiculous. Okay, our defense is carrying us, and we're trying to win a Super Bowl. We are not going to win a Super Bowl playing offense like this. And we're not going to win playoff games playing offense like this. I mean, that's A.J. Brown's point. Now, it would be nice, obviously, if A.J. Brown would make that point quietly. In this day and age, if you play a video game with a friend of yours and somehow, some way there's a social media aspect to it, and your friend asks you, how are you doing? And you say, personally, I'm doing great. Work, it's a show. And somebody finds it, goes public with it, and, well, you've got a horde of reporters that are asking you and the quarterback and the head coach about the comment you made to a friend while playing a video game.
Well, all right. Can I just, because I did not see his comments. I read his comments while playing the video game. I have questions. I have questions here. And they're simple, and you may not know the answer. Was he playing with a friend, or does he just go online and play with random people? And it really doesn't matter, but I'm more curious because, David, the one thing I do know is that he was on Twitch doing so. We do our show on Twitch, and I mean, come on. That means that there are 37 to 87 people paying attention. So I am curious if he was actually playing with a friend or if he goes into gaming rooms and plays with random people, because I have to be honest, I'm not a gamer anymore. My son plays a lot of the NCAA football, and he plays online with friends, but they don't play on Twitch. He was on a Twitch stream. Now, you know, you can financially make money from that. I don't really think A.J. Brown needs the $250 a month he may get from having a Twitch stream, but I am curious if he is playing with friends and they are putting their stuff out there, or if he's just out playing with random people. Because if he is, how cool would that be that you're going to play Madden and who you paired up with? Oh, A.J. Brown. Oh, all right.
I don't know. I just assumed that it was a friend because I don't know why he would divulge, you know, I just assumed based on his answer that he knew the person. You know, personally, I'm good. Like the person knew something about him, you know, the relationship he's in, you know, family, I don't know. So I made an assumption.
Okay, and I shouldn't, I didn't mean to go down that hole, but there's part of me that laughs because he seems like the kind of guy, and I don't know him at all. I've obviously never met him. I've never interviewed him, but he seems like the type of person that may divulge a lot just based on the mood he's in and divulge it to anyone.
Right.
I don't mean that. It's not a disparaging comment. He just seems like a guy that's a bit of an open book. And you and I, we love that. What do we ask for on the show? 6 seconds of truth. What did he give us? He gave us 6 minutes, basically.
Well, he gave us the 6 seconds in which he said, personally, my life's great. Work, it's a show. I mean, and now he then, when pressed on it yesterday, he said, I'm not talking about because, you know, my production is down. I'm talking about our production is down. You know, I mean, what did he say? You know, I'm thankful for the ring last year. I really am, but we ain't playing like we did last year. We got to get back to that. Now they have a new offensive coordinator. And obviously, AJ wishes Kellen Moore was still there calling the plays. And so, I mean, AJ was not targeting Jalen Hurts as much as he apparently is targeting the coaching staff, saying, hey, This ain't working, man. I don't care that we're stealing 10-7 wins. This ain't going to work. And he all but said, we're playing the Lions this Sunday. We're going to have to score more than 10 points. I'm just saying. So does it matter that he's right, or is he just a jerk and a bad teammate because, well, he went public?
Well, I don't know if he's a bad guy or a jerk. You're not supposed to go public with this stuff. I mean, that is the rule. That is the rule. So it is, I think there's a lot of truth to it. I mean, we are, I don't want to say guilty of it, because you and I have been pretty hardcore in saying, yep, the NFC is going through Philadelphia. You got to be able to beat the Eagles if you're going to represent the NFC. But we have not recognized them throughout this season as much as we've talked about, I don't know, Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, LA, Seattle. We have not given that type of love to the Eagles because I think you and I, like everybody else, looks at every NFC team and sees flaws. And you know who else sees them? A.J. Brown.
He does. And, he even said, we're 12th in scoring, which seems pretty good, right? But we're like 25th in this and 27th in this. And he goes, I'm telling you, it's going to come back and bite us. And if we don't do something about it now, when it does come back and bite us, it's going to be too late. Kind of like when you're watching Denver from afar. Can the Broncos keep having these fourth quarter escapes? Or when it finally bites them, is their season going to be over?
And there is such a small margin of error.
Yes.
At all times in the NFL. But this year, maybe, when I look at both sides, AFC and NFC, there seems to be a very small margin of difference between 1 and 7. Like I've never seen. I've been doing this a while. Every year we seem to have a couple of teams on one side, a couple of teams on the other, and then everyone else. And if we're right and, Kansas City overtakes Jacksonville and Baltimore overtakes Pittsburgh, when you look at the AFC, is there a clear-cut favorite? Vegas says the Chiefs. We see holes too. In the NFC, with the teams that are there now, do you see a clear-cut favorite? Like Chicago, to me, looks like a team that's not ready yet. The other 6, they could all play in the final game. So, thank you, A.J. Brown. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the material. There's no question. But I'm just wondering, can a guy be wrong? What he did was wrong. Him doing it publicly is wrong. And can he be right?
I think the answer to that is 100% yes.
You can tell Nick Sirianni, though. He got like a third question he goes, I'm just about done talking about him in this subject, just so you know. It's kind of like, guys, I came in here in a pretty good mood. You've ruined it pretty quickly.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, Lee.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton on this Thursday, although Seth Everett will join us today. His schedule was such that yesterday, which is his normal day to appear, didn't work for him. Works for him today. So Seth will be on next hour. Roy Cummings to talk Bucs, JP Shadrick to talk Jags. And what is it you would like to talk with us about? It's where the text line comes in, the Twitch chat room, the YouTube chat room. So there.
Text line's 21,000. That's the number. Keyword is Miller. Text that to 21,000. The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing, 1-866-9-PELICAN. 1-866-9-PELICAN. Since you started with A.J. Brown and Twitch,
right?
Can I also go to the video game world?
Sure.
And it's not necessarily about video games, but it kind of is. Are you aware of a UCLA fan by the name of Sean Peake?
I don't think so.
Sean Peake apparently is a big Bruin fan. In fact, Sean believes that he can coach the Bruins.
Oh, okay.
He applied for the head coaching job.
Okay, I'm liking this more and more.
He has never had any coaching experience.
Okay.
But he threw his hat in the ring due to his dominance in the EA Sports College Football 26 game. In his application to UCLA athletic director, Martin Jarmond, he said that he emphasized that he had won 6 consecutive national titles in dynasty mode, writing, "I simply don't lose."
Wait, what is this? Kurt Signetti? Okay.
Exactly.
Did he say to him, I win everywhere I go? Google me.
Google me. He detailed how he maxed out his entire roster and is consistently signing 5-star recruits, be it in dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football.
Right. I do it in my game. I'd like to do it for you in real life.
He added that UCLA was, and I quote, "a powerhouse under my leadership."
How did he get the audience with the AD?
Somehow got his public records, got his email. And that Chris Vanani from The Athletic went public records and got the email.
This is great. This is great. Who
I am confident that my digital dominance can translate directly to the Rose Bowl turf. My leadership style is simple. Go for 2 every time. Run Hail Marys on first downs. And always make sure my players look good in alternate uniforms. Please let me know when I can expect my headset, whistle, and university credit card for recruiting trips. He's not yet heard back from the athletic director about the job.
Unbelievable.
But did tell Vanani that while playing with the virtual Bruins, that they were a powerhouse under his leadership.
Yeah. Okay.
I want that guy to play A.J. Brown in a no-holds-barred. You know, A.J. plays the pro. He goes Madden. This guy goes college football.
Right.
But, yes, I simply don't lose.
Right.
Please let me know when I can expect my headset, whistle, and university credit card for recruiting trips.
What's your qualification, sir? Have you seen the standings in CFB 2026? Hello? By the way, so apparently the worst kept secret in the world is James Franklin's going to Arkansas. Did you catch all the internet scuttlebutt yesterday? Not from reporters, mind you, from Arkansas boosters who all just started texting one another. Yeah, it's a done deal. They're not going to announce it until after the Missouri game, which is like 2 more weeks. But apparently James Franklin, Arkansas, which is funny because 2 weeks ago, it was apparently James Franklin of Virginia Tech.
Okay, serious question. You're James Franklin. Which of those 2 jobs would you want?
Oh, I would have taken Virginia Tech.
I think you've got a better chance to win at a higher level at Virginia Tech. You and I have talked about it. Arkansas does not lack anything. They don't lack money. I don't know where their facilities are, but they are.
Their facilities are terrific.
Okay. But at their best, at their very best, and everybody loves Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman should have never been the coach of Arkansas. He was an offensive line coach at Georgia. Come on, let's just understand that was never going to work. So they were obviously not at their best with Pittman. But even at their best, would they have a shot at the playoff once every 5 years?
I mean, Petrino had one team that would have made what is now the playoff that we have. He had the 1 year, I think it was 2011, that his only 2 losses were to LSU and Alabama. And I thought that was the year that they played for the Natty. And he actually had a 14-point lead on LSU in the first half, late in the season, because they played the day after Thanksgiving. And if they had won that game, it would have thrown everything, would have blown up the SEC that year. But Arkansas has made 1 SEC title game under Houston Nutt in 2006. The Gators, the first national title in 2006 when USC lost to UCLA. Florida had the lead at the half, gave it up in the third quarter, and then came from behind and beat Arkansas to play for the national title. I believe that's Arkansas's only trip to the SEC title game in their years in the conference.
So if they're at their best, I think, once every 5 years, making a 12-team playoff is the top of the expectations for Arkansas.
Right. I mean, we talked about this one time, and I happen to think very highly. I liked the Fayetteville, Bentonville area. I could live there easily. It's very affordable. The people are great. And obviously there's Walmart money and even more than that. I mean, Arkansas could be a sleeping giant under the current rules of college sports. And it is, look at John Calipari's their men's basketball. They've never had trouble attracting high-quality basketball coaches. They have a great track and field program. They have a great baseball program. I mean, but when it comes to football, let's be honest. On Arkansas's best day, you could rattle off half the conference that's better than them.
Let me ask you this, though. With the right coach, could they be what Lane is at Ole Miss?
Oh, easily.
Because, if they get the portal going, they're always going to struggle recruiting. And you have to do both to win national championships. You really do. That's why the Florida job is more attractive than the Ole Miss job. That's what the Florida people will tell you. Doesn't mean that Lane's coming to Gainesville, but they're right, because you can recruit and get the portal going in Gainesville. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, I don't know. You're close to Texas. Are you going to get kids from A&M in Texas? It's possible.
Well, I think you have to do what Texas Tech is doing. Because, I mean, let's face it, when Arkansas has been very good or better, they're getting the majority of their talent from Texas. And so that's what they'd have to do. But they've got the money to compete if they want to spend it all on football.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, I have 2 potential poll questions for you, David. One, who would you want to be your ace for the next 2-3 years, Scooble or Skeens?
Okay.
And we don't have to go there. It's baseball, and it is November, for crying out loud. 2, today is National Dream Destination Day. Where is your dream destination? By a lake, at the beach, in the mountains, and I don't know what the other one is.
Okay.
Got nothing out of Moulton. He doesn't like either of them. I can tell you that.
No. I do. I think they're fine.
That
They're
or
very solid.
either that or he's sending a text to someone, and I'm getting 22% attention right now.
Man.
If we wanted to go football, what's the job you could win at the quickest? Leave the big boys out. What second tier job can you win at the quickest? Virginia Tech, Arkansas, UCLA. Trying to think what else is out there that's open.
Yeah. Yeah, Canada relief there, talking Belichick and the Giants. You could ask if you're the Giants, would you even interview him? Because I would. I like those questions, though. They're solid.
Your hockey guy died. Larry Brooks, in the Post.
Oh, no.
75. I literally just opened the Post to see if I could see anything else. Larry Post died at 75.
Oh, my God. He wrote something a couple weeks ago. Wow. Oh, man. Love Larry Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
By the way, my wife and one of her friends bought the tickets. I don't know when the show is, but she's flying to meet her up in New York, and they're seeing Bon Jovi at the Garden.
My best friend's wife got the tickets to one of the shows. Yep. Oh, wow. I guess Brooks just recently found out he had cancer, and it was too late. He took the current Rangers beat writer Molly Walker under his wing like 5-7 years ago and has groomed her as the heir apparent.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Seth Everett joins us 1 hour from now. Roy Cummings will talk Bucs, and JP Shadrick will talk Jags, at the very least. Coming up on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A few things going on in the sports world. Big basketball night last night. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Mark, I don't know if you're aware, but the Starting Five is brought to you by Lee County in Florida, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism, otherwise known as BST. We'll start with the NFL. You guys seem to like it. Seems pretty popular. A.J. Brown not happy with the Eagles' offense as a whole, describing it as a blank show, and I think 99 out of 100 of you can figure out what blank stands for. The Eagles are 7-2, mind you. AJ was targeted just 3 times, had 2 catches for 13 yards Monday night. He says it's about more than that, even though he's on pace for his fewest amount of catches and fewest amount of yards and fewest amount of touchdowns in a season. He says it's about the offense as a whole. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts do not think AJ is a distraction. That's what they said yesterday. You can decide whether or not you think they're telling the truth or not. All right? People tell little white lies in sports all the time.
You know, it does beg the question, what do you try to do with A.J. Brown if you're Sirianni and Hurts? Do you sit him down? Because this could go one of 2 ways. He could listen and say, you guys are right, or he could go running right back to Twitch, play more Madden, and bitch and moan some more.
Right. So do you tell him, listen, just don't say what you're saying publicly? Could you just keep it in the locker room? And do you then run the risk of, when he gets interviewed after the Lions game Sunday, win or lose, he says, well, I can't talk. The team doesn't want me to tell you guys how I really feel. Or do you just kind of live with it?
And I think that's the best bet. I by the way, I don't know if coach and quarterback can say anything. Maybe offensive linemen that he likes can. Maybe defensive linemen that he likes can. Someone that's not the quarterback or coach that grabs him, that he respects, and says, AJ, come on, man. You got to stop this.
Right.
Because I get the feeling he doesn't respect the coach or quarterback.
There may be something there, Mark. He may respect him. He may just not respect him totally.
Fair enough.
I mentioned it's Sunday Night Football, Lions at Eagles. It's going to be a pretty entertaining watch anyway. Thursday Night Football's tonight, just like that. Jets and Patriots, because that's pretty much what they do on Thursday Night Football. They give you division games. 8:15 Eastern on Amazon. Care to guess what the Patriots are favored by?
Happen to have it in front of me, so it would be an unfair guess, but I'll let y'all play at home in 3, 2, 1.
13.5. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of points in the National Football League.
Damn right it is.
But the Patriots have won 7 in a row, and they've earned that spread. Hey, the Jets have won 2 in a row. Yeah. By the way, did you see what Aaron Glenn did earlier this week? He was asked a question about injuries, and he said, I'm not going to tell you anything about injuries. Where's Rich Cimini? And he's a Jets beat writer. And he said, ask Rich. He has all the answers. That was because last week, I guess Cimini broke a story about some Jet and said he wasn't going to play. Listen, I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn, okay? Come on, dude. You played in that market. You know how it goes. Come on.
Yeah, I am too, but and I thought Aaron Glenn was going to do well. But the jury's still out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't look at it 1 year. Of all the things he's done, that's the one mistake that I like. Yeah, he's made a couple of little errors. Don't start going after the New York media.
Yeah, come on.
Because they will then gang up on you.
Right.
They work as a team. They all work for different papers. There's a bunch of them, but they all work as a team.
Most of them were there when you played there. They know you were a very good player. They know you wanted this job. They want to give you as much of a honeymoon as possible. You want to blatantly disrespect and withhold information from them? You better win a lot sooner than you're gonna, because they can run you out of town just as easily as they ran Adam Gase. College football last night, action. Man, UMass is historically bad. Northern Illinois is a 2-7 team. Northern Illinois led UMass 45-0 mid-third quarter at UMass last night. A 2-7 team, 45-0 mid-third. 45-3 is your final. UMass 0-10. Central Michigan, the Chips are bowl eligible. They doubled up Buffalo 38-19. And Toledo over Miami of Ohio 24-3. There's one college football game tonight. Troy is at Old Dominion, and Old Dominion's a 12.5-point favorite. Seems like a lot. 7:30 Eastern on the Four Letter Network. Mark, did you hear the story about your alma mater?
I sure did.
Michigan State hit with 3 years probation. I don't know what that means anymore. Usually means recruiting visits, scholarships. I don't know what it means anymore. But they had their 14 wins from the last 3 years all vacated. Apparently, they played 3 ineligible players for the last 3 years.
And I believe they self-reported this and still got nailed, which begs the question.
Once again, we've been saying it.
Ever self-report? We've been saying this since Florida State lost their indoor track and field title. Okay?
Yep.
We've been on this, and that's 10 years ago.
It's more than that, yes. I don't know why you cooperate with the NCAA. By the way, do what Michigan did. Do what Kansas basketball did. Come on, we all know. Deny, deny, stall, stall, deny, deny, lie, lie. What happened to both of them? Nothing. That's how you should treat the NCAA. If they're going to be a joke, treat them as such. Here's the real penalty. They were fined $30,000. Really? But they were fined 1.5% of last year's football budget. The football budget's $58.6 million is what they spent on football last year. by the way, not a good return on your investment.
No, it really isn't because they suck.
But 1.5% of that's $880,000. Baseball.
Yet we don't have a cap in this sport.
Right.
And we're fining schools sums of money in which we've never done before. They have got to figure this out. You know, there are a couple of yahoos that have been saying make these guys employees. You might want to consider it. That's all.
Listen, if I'm Michigan State, I may just want to take the NCAA to court and just say, why are these guys even still around? Because they're event planners. They don't have the right to fine me. I thought you passed that all up to the conferences. Didn't you guys do that 6-8 months ago? I could have sworn doing that news story you were going to leave discipline and sanctions up to each conference, and we all laughed, but that's what you said it out loud. Baseball, the GM meetings are in Vegas. They're handing out awards this week. Back-to-back days, back-to-back repeat winners. 2 days ago, the managers of the year were Pat Murphy in the National League, again, of Milwaukee, and Stephen Voigt in the American League, again, of Cleveland. Well, they did it with the Cy Young, too. Paul Skeens in the National League, again. Tariq Skubal in the American League, again. Listen, Skeens is great. I would give up a ton to get him. A ton to get him. I do just want to say, though, when there are guys on teams that are in contention who are pitching in big games down the stretch and winning them, how do you give the award to somebody who you can argue has yet to pitch in a meaningful game? Don't the quality of the games have to matter?
I don't.
No?
I know where you're at. For a regular season award, I mean, you're now jumping into that pool of, well, they have to be good, but yet on a good team to get a regular season award. It's not his fault he plays for the Pirates.
No, it's not. And he's terrific. But if you got guys winning 17, 18, 19 games, okay? So, just saying.
All right.
NHL. Oh, the Rays also announced they're officially going to be back at the Trop. Everything's on schedule. April 6th against the Cubs is their home opener. NHL, Vazzy got pulled. Gave up 4 in the first. 5 in 2 periods. Got pulled. Rangers beat the Lightning 7-3. They're 8-1-1 on the road this year.
Too bad they have to play home games.
Yeah, I know. They're only 1-6-1 at home. Panarin with 4 assists for the Rangers. Devils 4-3 in overtime. Simon Nemec with a hat trick, including the game winner. Edmonton got the game winner in overtime in Philly by Jack Roslovic 2-1. And Utah with a 4-goal third beat the Sabres 5-2. All right, the big night in the NBA. Orlando handed the Knicks their first home loss, 124-107. Miami had a 14-point lead on Cleveland late third quarter. Cavs outscored the Heat 52-24 the rest of the way. They won by 14, 130-116.
Boy, I sure hope you bought tickets for that game because, sure, it was an entertaining game, but Cleveland didn't play Garland, who's hurt, Mitchell,
right,
and Mobley, who were out because they were resting.
Right.
And Adebayo and Hero missed the game as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. Drive home safely.
Right. Load management. Let me tell you some of the guys who didn't play last night. The Pistons have won 8 in a row. They beat the Bulls 124-113. They're 10-2, best record in the East. So the Celtics played Memphis. No John Morant. They won by 36. No Giannis for Milwaukee. Why? It was Wednesday. Charlotte beat them in 111-100. Washington's 1-11. Houston beat them by 23. The Pelicans are 2-9. They lost at home to Portland 125-117. And Joe Dumars has already made 2 of the 5 worst trades in the history of the NBA. And he's been the GM for 6 months. During the NBA Finals, he traded Indiana's first-round pick back to Indiana
so that he could clear $5 million of cap space and take some guy off his hands. 5 days later, the point guard blows out his Achilles. That first-round pick, if New Orleans still had it, would be what? Top 5 pick? Yeah, he gave it back to Indiana for cap relief and a role player. Then he makes a draft day deal with Atlanta to move up 10 spots in the draft from 23 to 13. It's an unprotected first-round pick. So he doesn't have the Indiana lottery pick, and he won't have his own lottery pick because he traded it to Atlanta. Way to go, Joe Dumars. Golden State beat the Spurs 125-120. Steph with 46. Wemby with a triple-double, 31, 15, and 10. Phoenix has won 4 in a row. They beat Dallas by 9. OKC's 12-1. They pounded the Lakers by 29. Atlanta handed Sacramento their 4th loss in a row. They beat them on their home court by 33. And Denver's won 6 in a row. They beat the Clippers by 14. Jokic with 55. Bradley Beal out for the year for the Clippers. College hoops, Tennessee beat North Florida, but they didn't cover, 99-66. And top-ranked Houston over Oakland, 78-45. South Florida winner. By the way, women's college basketball last night, all the seeded teams ranked teams won. Notre Dame's Hannah Hidalgo had 44 points and 16 steals in a win last night. Wow, what a stat line. LPGA, the Annika. It's Annika Sorenstam's tournament. She hosts it near Orlando. Yeah, the big headliner, 18-year-old Kai Trump, granddaughter of the president. She's a high school senior. She'll be playing golf at the University of Miami next year. She's making her LPGA Tour debut. She's a very good amateur player, but she's in on a sponsor's exemption. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories and a Trump here on Miller and Moulton. Starting 5 brought to you by Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
I didn't know you were going with Trump there on the LPGA. I thought that Caitlin Clark was playing and the Pro-Am was going to be your lead there.
Right.
She's play basketball, but she can play golf.
Right, healthy enough to play golf and walk too. So, apparently things are going well. Miller and Moulton, thanks for being with us.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our Diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Tacori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd, only at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
What would be the dream? You don't have your headsets on. That is just no help to me right now. Blow your nose again and put your damn headsets on. All right. Today is National Dream Destination Day. What is your dream sports destination?
Dream sports
Now, I know the Masters wins this every time if you put the Masters on there. Do you go the Masters, the Super Bowl, the Olympics?
Kentucky Derby, Masters, Super Bowl.
Do you leave the Masters off because it always wins? Or do we do your dream college sports destination and put up 4 iconic stadiums?
Huh.
You got 26 seconds.
Well, go whichever way you want. They're all good. I mean, literally, they're all good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. We've got Thursday Night Football tonight. We're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, heading down the home stretch of the college football regular season. I mean, we just got 3 weekends left. That's it. Then it's conference championship games, and then it's playoffs and bowl games. That's it. We wait a long time, and down the stretch we come. Here we go, ready or not.
And David, before we get to all of that, we have to look back a little bit on yesterday's show, because I did not intend on causing the controversy that I caused yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
It was simply a question about roast beef.
Meat.
Simply
meat. Yep.
And
my phone buzzed all day.
Right. People playing golf with, I brought the question up. They were all in. Texting from people throughout the day. I show up this morning. Do you know what's on the text line?
Meat.
More comments about meat.
Yep.
Yesterday was National French Dip Day. It is my all-time favorite sandwich. So I threw it out there with 2 other great roast beef sandwiches, your Chicago Italian beef and your Philly cheesesteak. No offense to, there was some late ads for the Massachusetts, the Kelly's roast beef, and I know there's a couple of locations now in Florida. It's a fine sandwich. It didn't make the list. But people then asking me, where's the best French dip you get in Southwest Florida? Here's the problem. I don't have a go-to French dip place, but it's usually something that's a special. And if I'm at a restaurant, hey, our special today is the French dip. I salivate and I get it. I don't even need to look at a menu. But then, we got into the Philly cheesesteak and the whole Cheese Whiz thing. And you and I made fun of Cheese Whiz. Your mother got offended that we talked about Cheese Whiz in a can.
Right, not a jar. Yes.
I got this text this morning. I'm from Philly, and I'm going to read it the way I think he texted it, by the way, because there's no capital letters at all in this.
Right.
And it's not a mean text. But when I read it like this. I'm from Philly. It's Cheese Whiz. And it comes in a jar. Canned stuff is cheap nacho cheese knockoff. Okay, sir, I will say, on what you call the cheap nacho cheese knockoff, it says clearly on the can, Cheese Whiz.
Big letters.
Yeah. In fact, if you go back to one of the great cinematic experiences of the 20th century, the Blues Brothers, what does the guy in the hostile type place ask Aykroyd for that? Boy, you bring my Cheese Whiz? And he throws him a can of Cheese Whiz. I'm just saying. So.
Yeah, you struck a nerve yesterday.
I did. I had no idea.
I get a text.
As simple as this would lead to what it led to yesterday.
I get a text from TJ of Floor Meisters fame. All right. And he texted me a place that he went into. I guess it was last night or recently. But anyway, it was one of those healthy places. And it was their version of the French dip. And he just said, don't show this to Mark. He'll be very disgusted. So, of course, the first thing I did was forward it to Mark.
Yeah, it was an Impossible beef French dip. Plant-based meat.
Right.
And the funny thing is, when I looked at it, I've been to the restaurant. I saw it. I saw French dip. I got super excited. And then I read it and I went, what in the absolute hell? And I like the place. I've gone there a lot. It's a date night spot for the wife and I when we drop the daughter off at gymnastics. It's nearby, serves good food. It's got a nice bar, nice atmosphere. But yeah, Impossible Meat French dip. What do you dip it in? Because it is, the au jus is beef juice. It's, so you vegetable juice with that. You get a vegetable stock with that. Someone just, good God, man.
And so anyway, that was my whole day, afternoon and evening. Okay, was dominated by the French dip and every discussion that came afterwards. So whatever you're thinking of today, could you try to not have my phone blow up all day?
Well, I'm afraid that I might I have one question already up. You can have one guy pitch for you for the next 3 years. Who do you want? Skubal or Skeens, the 2 Cy Young Award winners. Skubal will come out in the 6th inning of important games.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's going to be his Detroit legacy. He couldn't go one more inning in Game 5 against Seattle, huh? Really? You were gassed. That's funny. Yamamoto managed to throw 117 pitches in a World Series game, even though he'd been throwing 98 all year. Why? Because it was the World Series.
Yeah. I don't know, David.
I mean,
I don't know. Not like the game was important or anything.
No, it's only an elimination game, and you could advance to the ALCS. And you had a closer who could go 2 innings. You just had to get the ball to him. So, of course, in the 7th inning, they went to someone else who gave up the big homer, and they lost.
But Skeens or Skubal, the 2 Cy Young Award winners, David already made his claim of how did Skeens get the award when he never pitched in a meaningful game. And it's a very valid argument because there were pitchers all over the National League that had good years who pitched in far more meaningful games.
Also, there were a couple of times down the stretch in which he played teams who were in it, and he got beat. I mean, he was pitching, you could argue, in a meaningful game, not for his team, but for the team that he was pitching against, and they beat him. Okay? I mean, is he the best pitcher in the National League? Yes. And ultimately, that is the award. It goes to the best pitcher in the National League. I would like for him at some point, though, to pitch in a meaningful game. I really would.
So would he.
Well,
you don't think that will be in Pittsburgh?
No, none of us think it will be in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh came out and squashed all the rumors of Skeens to New York. They're going to try to win there. With this ownership it's not going to happen. It's just not. Mark Cuban comes and buys the Pirates. They might be competitive in a couple of years. This current ownership, they are what they are.
They could be competitive next year with their pitching. Okay, honestly, if they spent $40 million, I guarantee you they'd finish above 500. They went out and got 3 solid bats, not huge bats. They don't have to get in the Bellinger sweepstakes. They don't have to do things. They don't have to go after Alonso, although they should.
I was going to say that would be a perfect fit for them, by the way.
What they should do, though, is get a thumper in the middle of that lineup. But, I mean, honestly, you could go get Alonso and one other guy. With that pitching, you'd be above 500. You really would.
Who knows then? I mean, because 88, 89 can get you in.
But, I mean, hell, 84 got you in last year.
But that's one question, Skeens or Skubal. The other one I'm having a little more trouble with because today, and I look at nationaltoday.com. I look at it every day to see if it leads us somewhere fun for a poll question. That's where I got the French dip information. Today is National Dream Destination Day. And screw the dream destination. We're a sports show. What is your dream sports destination? At the moment, I have these 4 nominees. I will hold this and put it up at the break in case anybody on the text line or anybody in the chat room or my co-host has something that he or you think should top these 4. The World Cup, because it's really big on Miller and Moulton's list. It is. It's a top 3 for both of us, I think.
And the funny thing is, we don't want to go to a United States match in the World Cup.
No, I'd prefer it to be a South American country.
I was going to say, I would love to go to Brazil. And I don't mean the country. I mean, I just want to go to a match in which Brazil is playing.
Yeah, I would love to go to a South American country. My second choice would probably be the Netherlands because they seem to have a really good, the English can get angry. The Netherlands seem to have a really fun time wherever they go. Maybe it's because pot's been legal over there forever. I don't know.
Do you think the amount of fun, though, we'd have at an England World Cup match? Okay, we'd be doing our fake, well, you wouldn't, but I would, the fake English accent, okay? And I'd wait till there was just a moment, and I'd go, come on, Harry! Come on, Kane!
No, I'd probably be right there with you. Don't kid yourself. I'd have a few beers in me. I'd be yelling right there with you. So the World Cup we have. An event David and I have both been to, but it seems to win a category like this most every time. The Masters. Personally, for me, the top of my bucket list, since I'm the one that does the poll question, I can control what goes on. The Kentucky Derby. And then I put one for the masses on there. The Super Bowl. And that wouldn't make my list. Of these 4, Super Bowl would come in last every time.
And remember, it's not Super Bowl with your team in it. It's, hey, we can get you tickets to next year's Super Bowl.
My team's never going to be in it.
Well, come on. You got a shot here. I think in the next 5 years, you got a real shot.
We'll see.
Yeah, I do. I think you'll be knocking on the door for 5 years.
College football national championship did not make the list. Should it? I don't know. And, if you start throwing game 7s on there of the Stanley Cup, of the NBA Finals, of the World Series, you're getting particular. We're kind of given an event.
Things that happen every year.
Right.
Okay, but you've never been to
game 7.
Right. Like you mentioned the Kentucky Derby. For some, it might be the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500. They're into a different form of racing.
So those are the 4 I have. I will take a look at the text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000 is the number. Miller is the keyword if you've never texted the show before. I'll take a look at the text line. I'll see what chat has to say, and we'll come to a decision during the break and put that question up as well. So Scooble or Skeens and your dream sports destination. Those are our poll questions. Seth Everett in 25 minutes right here on Miller and Moulton.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, DC. I see where you're at there. I've had the Olympics come up on the text line as well. I think the Final Four is interesting. Love that Brad went with NCAA Final Four or cliff diving from Acapulco. Ryder Cup is one of the worst events in the world to attend in person, DTW. I'm telling you right now. I know several people who have been. I would never go to a Ryder Cup. Don't see any golf. You don't get good views. Trust me, at the Masters, you get to see everybody up close. There's plenty of ways to position yourself. But I could take off the Derby for the Final Four. And I could take the Olympics and put it for the Super Bowl. Do you think, David, either of those should take any of these four off? Final Four over World Cup, Masters, Derby, Super Bowl, Olympics over any of those?
Super Bowl, Masters, Derby. Olympics doesn't happen every year.
That's true. Okay.
Well, but then again, neither does a World Cup.
Right. Yeah.
So should we take that off the list and go with stuff that happens every year?
Take the World Cup off for the Final Four?
Yeah. Now, I know, EB, but it's unfair if you have events that are every year and events that are every 2 or 4 years, then those events are more special by definition. So I was just wondering, do we put them all?
I like that. I'm
make them all yearly events.
Right. Because then we could go to the well with the World Cup and Olympics later on.
Right.
If we remember.
Correct.
Done. Final Four replaced World Cup. Vote accordingly.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett to join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Roy Cummings at the top of the hour to talk the Bucs. And the Diamond District bonus hour, JP Shadrick will join us. Have the Jags gotten over one of their worst losses in franchise history? Man, I live in Jacksonville. I've been listening all week. People who have been covering the team since day one are saying this is as tough a loss as the franchise has ever had. Huh? Okay. I will say, did you see yesterday, Mark, you know, that you got all these odds now. Every game's got odds, and with every score, the odds change on a game, you know, likelihood of winning, losing, and what have you. But before games are played, every week they will come out with which game will have the biggest impact on the playoffs. And this week, apparently, the game that will have the biggest impact on whether both teams miss or make the playoffs is Chargers at Jags. Of all the games being played, that, you know, Lions, Eagles, bigger game, but basically when you do playoff odds, figure they're both going to make it. It's just a matter of where they're going to be seated. Rams, Seahawks, can't get much bigger than that right now in the NFC, right? Hell, in the whole league, based on record. You know, both probably going to make the playoffs. So the game apparently that is going to have the biggest impact 6, 7, 8 weeks from now as to who's in and who's out is the game that you and I circled 2-3 weeks ago and said, here you go. This is going to be a big game. Just like we thought Carolina was going to take care of business against New Orleans last week. And when they played a week from Monday in San Francisco, we thought, you know, this Carolina-San Francisco game could be for a wild card spot. But not everything goes according to plan. So anyway.
Well, I don't think I will be incredibly impressed. As impressed as I've been about any team in a long time, under any circumstances, if the Jags make the playoffs this year. Like, I'm not kidding. I think the loss was that big. I don't think Trevor is anything more than a good quarterback. I don't think he's above average. I don't know if he ever will or can be. He's got his best shot with this coach. I understand a bunch of different coaches, a bunch of different coordinators. I know he says the right things, but when I watch him play and I watch him after the game, I don't know if he's all in, if you know what I mean. Like, I just don't. I think it was easy for him at Clemson. It's not easy for him in Jacksonville. And I don't know if he's got that X factor, if you will, to be great. I don't think that he does. So if the Jags can make the playoffs this year, color me impressed. Because after losing that game the way that they did, I think you can stick a fork in them. I do.
So you think this is going to be the equivalent of when the Bears lost the Hail Mary game to the Commanders last year?
Yes.
Because Pat Kerwin came on our show and said, my fear is they're done.
Yeah, I think the Jags are done. Done. Now they have an excuse. Hunter's done for the year. You know, they can build in their excuses at this point. Liam Cohn's going to have to do some coaching. And nothing about that on Sunday. He's got to get that room ready for Sunday. And I'll be impressed if he does. David, I will say, we made some adjustments on the poll question, and it caused me to put a third poll question up.
Oh.
Because you were right. When we looked at, you know, we originally had the World Cup, the Masters, the Derby, and the Super Bowl. Well, one of those happens every 4 years. The other are annual events. So we decided to give you 4 annual events. The Final Four, the Masters, the Derby, and the Super Bowl. It's National Dream Destination Day. So we asked what your dream sports destination is. But then I took the non-annual events and put them into their own category. Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics, World Cup, Ryder Cup.
You're feeling very poll question.
President's Cup did not make the list, David, just so you know.
Never does, Mark.
No, it doesn't.
Never does. So, wow. You're very poll question-y today.
Well, you know what? I'd like them even more if they had a sponsor. Hint, hint to those of you listening out there.
We've mentioned a couple times, so Sunday Night Football this week, it's a really good NFL weekend. Really, really good NFL weekend. And for that matter, it's not a bad college weekend either. All right. But really good NFL weekend. Sunday Night Football's Lions-Eagles. So every Wednesday, that's when coaches and players do their mandatory weekly thing. It's also when usually the visiting coach will be asked questions by the out-of-town media. Well, Dan Campbell was asked, going to play the Eagles, what question do you think is going to come up? The tush push. Did you see Dan Campbell's answer about the tush push?
Give it to me, David.
The more you think about Dan Campbell and the tush push, which side do you think he would come on?
You would think he would be on pro tush push.
I'm a purist, man. If you take something out of the game, then you're taking the next thing out of the game. And then you're taking another thing. And pretty soon, we don't have pads anymore. Pretty soon, we're only playing 30 minutes. I don't want to take it out of the game. A team has got a niche. They've found something. They're good at it. That's for everybody else to stop. It's unique. It's physical. More than anything, I just don't want to take anything else out of the game. I just want to leave the game alone.
That's the answer I would expect out of him.
Yep.
Now, here is the follow-up question, though. When you're at the presser and that question is asked, now I'm begging for a second, but I'm talking to the other writers in the room saying, hey, I'm going to ask him a tush push question. If he's for the tush push, because I think he will be, can you guys allow me to ask another question? Or if you get the next question, can you ask this? Coach Campbell, thank you for your answer. Respect the hell out of it. Love the answer. Can you let me know which way the Detroit Lions voted in terms of banning the tush push this offseason? Because that's what I'd want to know.
Well, do you happen to know how they voted?
He's not the one that voted.
No.
That would be my follow-up. Because I have no idea how the Lions voted in the tush push vote in the offseason. And I don't think we would ever know. Those votes aren't public.
I thought they were reported. They're not public, but eventually, a few members of the media ask, and nobody keeps the secret anymore. And I think the teams that were against it came out and said, no, we were against it. I believe Goodell was 2 votes short. I believe he needs to twist 2 more arms.
Oh, the Lions did vote against the ban.
Okay.
So the teams that voted against the ban were the Eagles, of course, the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions, the Jags, the Dolphins, the Pats, the Saints, the Jets, and the Titans. They had 22 votes. They were 2 short.
So it sounds like most of the NFC then voted to ban it, right?
Yes.
That's a lot of AFC teams. The Lions voted to keep it, besides the Eagles, obviously, but the Lions and who else from the
Saints.
NFC?
The Lions and the Saints.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I think Eagles fans now know if the Eagles get knocked out of the playoffs, who their NFC team to root for is.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
The
details.
2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, I'm good. Thank you. There you go, Paul. That's the beginning. That's the beginning. You don't tell them you're getting your hair cut, and you wait to see if they notice. Now, give them, sometimes they'll say something the next day. So, but don't say anything. Don't say anything.
What I find great is the fact that my daughter notices before my wife. Hey, Dad, you got your hair cut? Yeah, I did, honey.
Might want to tell your mother.
I'm trying to teach her how to keep secrets because kids are bad at that. And I gave her a big test on Tuesday. Very cold. She's still supposed to ride in the back seat because she's a kid. And apparently you can't ride in the front seat until you're 84. But my car has heated seats. It was cold Tuesday. I said, if you can keep it from your mom, I'll let you ride in the front with the heated seats. So far, so good. I'm impressed. Seth said he had to restart. I don't know if he had to restart his car or his computer, but it's sure taking a long time for him to get here.
I'm guessing computer. I know.
There he is. There he is. Well, now he left.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, and that's when Roy Cummings will join us to talk the Tampa Bay Bucs. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. He normally joins us at 8 a.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, but he's a busy guy.
Yep.
And so he said, Thursday? And we said, yeah, sure. We've got 4 hours. We can fit you in. He's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. He's wearing a Devils. Is that a T-shirt or a sweatshirt?
That looks like a practice jersey is what it looks
very
like.
much. Mark Miller. Ding, 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 ding. It's an old one. And you know what? It fits.
And Seth, not only are you wearing a practice jersey, but by first look, you don't like there's no T-shirt underneath. I mean, those things are itchy.
No, this feels good. It feels good.
All right. You're going to go.
I have to be a guest speaker for a class in about 20 minutes. So I have like a button-down shirt, and I didn't want to put the jersey over the button-down shirt. So I took the other shirt off.
Okay. So you're going to be the guest speaker via Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, Zoom.
Wow. The kids are really paying for that great education.
Yeah. Well, my class later today has Donnie LaGreca as a guest speaker on Zoom.
By the way, you'll have to ask him about the passing of Larry Brooks.
I will. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and Mel Bridgman also.
Yes, from a couple of days ago. You posted something which, I hadn't thought of.
Okay.
So I don't know if what you posted is ridiculous or actually smart, and the sports world's being ridiculous. So you, as a Devils fan, were upset that they didn't start the Devils Blackhawks game last night when they would normally start it because they held the start time because it was part of the TNT hockey doubleheader.
Yep. And
so it was at least an hour late.
It was 25 minutes late. It was supposed to be a 9:30 start, and it was
no. But their games normally start 8:30.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah.
So they were pushing it back an hour, and then when the first game goes long, they push it back even longer. But you said something on X in which you said, "Listen, in this day and age, with streaming services and what have you, no game should be pushed back for television. Just start the games and play."
Well, yes, to a degree. I agree with half of what you're saying. TNT had this scheduled doubleheader. ESPN does this all the time. ESPN has its, for example, its ACC network, right? And they'll play Boston College against, Rydell High. And, they'll be in that game. And then college football takes forever these days.
Mhm.
And so the game will be, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And what they'll do is they'll put a little crawl on the bottom that says, this game is beginning on ESPN News. And you go to your ESPN News, and if you're watching on the app, just press the button on the app. And TNT knows that. I mean, Warner Brothers knows that, and they do it for the NCAA tournament. So what they could do at 9:30 now, if you want to schedule the game at 9:30 because you wanted a majority of the game on your national feed, that I respect. I don't agree with it, but I respect. What the difference was. The Rangers were beating the Lightning, which was the early game. They were up by 4 goals with 6 minutes to go at 9:30. We're waiting for that game? The start time of my game got pushed to 9:52.
Let me just
watch some garbage time.
Let me just explain something to you. One team, and I know the other team is in first place with, I think, the second best record in the game. But the other team is the New York Rangers. The team that you're talking about is the New Jersey Devils, that outside of you and 6 other Devils fans, nobody cares about.
But on ESPN, what they'll do, they'll put the Liberty game on ESPN News. I'm just making random college names.
By the way,
if BC could have done it easily.
If BC's got to play Rydell High, watch out for Kaniki and Zuko. I'm just telling you right now, a lot tougher than what you think in the backcourt.
That would be a fantastic matchup.
By the way, Rydell High against UMass. Okay, I'm on Rydell High. Man. Northern Illinois is not good this year. They were 2-7. They beat them by 6 touchdowns. I mean, isn't that when a president and an athletic director start thinking about maybe we shouldn't play this sport? Maybe we shouldn't play it in front of people? Maybe we should play it at a lower level?
David, I don't think they could have a winning record at a lower level. That's the part that's embarrassing about them.
Then why spend all the money that they're having to spend at the highest level?
I don't know.
Down.
I don't know.
There was a week where I was doing Boston sports radio for iHeart on a Saturday, and UConn was playing, I think, later in the afternoon, and BC had played already, like on a Thursday or Friday, and UMass was the only thing going on in New England. And I said to the guys at WBZ, I said, I can't lead with this. Like, I'll do Patriots preview.
Right, totally. Yeah.
Before leading with UMass. No,
right.
I can't do that. I love doing in Boston, they love college hockey. So we'll do the college hockey scoreboard on a Saturday in November, and it's a blast. That's fun.
You are right. I'm home with the Bean Pod. It's a fun little tournament. You had Mark Malusis on Sports with Friends, and we've had him on the show. And one of the things,
regular. Yeah.
I was curious. One of the things you talked to him about was the future of radio. Yeah. And Seth, you have been the biggest and the first and probably the loudest voice we have on our show that said go to streaming for, dump linear television, go to streaming. I don't watch shows unless it's an appointment. You watch games or you watch shows that are on tape, whatever the case may be. What were his thoughts about radio? Because I'm seeing different reports of younger people are actually looking to the radio for news. There's been a big fight on Capitol Hill about keeping AM radio in cars and things of that nature. I'm just curious, without having to give away too much of what you guys talked about, because I'd like people to download the podcast, what his thoughts were on the future of radio. Because, it is still where we do our job.
No. And it wasn't me starting that conversation. It was a tangent that we got into, because what he was saying is how radio shows now, the producers, not necessarily you guys, the producers come up with these rundowns with planned segments in every segment. Whereas what he was saying is when he was doing radio more often, he was coming out of a segment where he had an idea in his head. He would say the idea, take a bunch of calls on it. and that would be the hour. And now it's very much compartmentalized. And I said, it just sounds like what they're doing is planning podcasts. And what they're not doing is thinking about it in the moment. And that was the conversation that we had. It was more about producers and how, when he produced Mike and the Mad Dog, it was a very, very different job than when, guys produce radio shows now.
Now, they all do it like if you've ever watched Mike Greenberg's Get Up. Every segment's heavily produced.
Well, you know me.
Okay, yeah. Okay, every segment is heavily produced.
Rodell High.
Yeah. And now that's how they do national radio, in which they will, and FAN might as well be national because it's in the biggest market in the country. Now, I don't think it should be. I actually think with all the local teams, it should be the opposite of national radio. But yes, we joke about how underproduced our show is. And actually, for those that like our show, I think one of the reasons they like it is because our show is how shows were done 20, 30, 40 years ago. When Mark will say, hey, I got an interesting text here. And that's our next segment. Okay. When
the segment started, you weren't going there.
I don't even know what Mark's going to, say. I don't know what's in the text.
Yeah.
I may not find it interesting. Okay, but yeah, we do it all the time. I mean, and yes, there's the heavily produced, heavily formatted television, radio, and then there's the kind of sitting around at the bar radio.
The more organic, which is what I think we've always done.
Well, the two funny things in that podcast, I had no idea where the conversation was going to go. We talked a lot about radio. We talked a lot about getting his start at WFAN, and he chose to go the board op route and then produce Mike and the Mad Dog. And he chose a path, and I was offered a part-time board op job at WFAN. I interned there 4 years prior to Mark, and I chose to go to Denver, Colorado, because I wanted to get on the air faster.
Right.
And there's not a right or a wrong answer. It's just that's the difference. So I just, to hear his analysis on that was very, very interesting. And then it was also very interesting because I make no secret that my podcast has sponsors, and one of my sponsors is an online sports book. And right after that ad runs, I'm talking about Clase and Ortiz, and it's just.
By the way, along those lines. Did you hear? And I know Scott Boras is full of a lot of hot air. Scott Boras came out. He always goes to the general managers meetings, he'll go to winter meetings. The media will sit in front of him like lapdogs, and he gets to say what he wants to say about all his clients and the game and what have you. But he said flat out, Major League Baseball should ban prop bets. Just ban them.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the argument that I've seen from a lot of people that I know and respect is just the idea that the leagues are profiting off of something that they're fighting against. And, one of the conversations that I had was, the NCAA, very, very under the radar because of the Terry Rozier case. The NCAA allowed college athletes to bet on pro sports. And all I said was, what happens when, Billy, who's a sophomore at UMass, and, he gets told, he's allowed to bet. He bets, and now all of a sudden he's $5,000 in the hole. What's his way to get $5,000? And somebody comes up to him and says, throw a game.
Well, here's the thing, though, with that, Seth. If you're and I get you can put it on a credit card, so you can essentially get credit. But if you are on a legal gambling website, or you are gambling in Las Vegas, they don't give you credit. The only people you can get in a hole with gambling like that is with a bookie.
Right. But a bookie finds out that said player is in the hole for $10,000, and he comes up to him and says, I know how you can get, I know how you can.
I got you. But if they're gambling legally, they're not going to get in that hole unless they're juicing all kinds of credit cards, because you got to put the money up. You know, with the bookie, we all know you have a number. Hey, what your number could be? $500, $1,000, $5,000. One side gets to that number, the other side pays. And the legalized gambling actually, to me, is a system that will catch these irregularities, and so far they have.
And I guess Major League Baseball's response to this latest gambling situation is they want prop bets to only be no more than $200. Okay.
Yep.
And also that they cannot be included in parlays of any kind. Okay. So that it's just a simple, straightforward, very small amount of money bet. They'll allow that, but they don't want it to be, I guess, some of the bets that were placed here were $7,000 betting on the first pitch being a ball or a strike.
I asked my students to show me how you do that. Like, you can bet, these prop bets are so hard to do. You have to be so tech savvy because it can be in the fourth inning. Like, you can sit there, you could be watching the fourth inning of a 1-1 game, and all of a sudden, Billy Bob is pitching, and you can, if you're fast with the app, you can bet $500 or now $200 on whether or not the next pitch is a ball. That's crazy.
Billy Bob, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Billy
he pulled
Bob.
for UMass, and he's in the hole for 10 grand.
So Billy Bob is pitching for UMass. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. I'm guessing it's Sports with Friends, and it's Mark Malusis?
Correct. You didn't need me for that part.
No. And we had him on our show earlier in the week, so.
Tremendous. And then, and then next week is Hall of Justice. And then for the 3 straight weeks, it's both shows are back.
Wow. Look at that. Seth's a full-time employee of his own company again.
Yeah. I got to do more shows. Oh, my God. I have so much work.
So much work. He puts out 2 hours a week, 4 hours a day, and he's talking about too much work.
Yeah.
10 seconds. What's your lecture on here to the kids in 7 minutes?
I think they want to talk about podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And podcast versus YouTube.
Gotcha.
I think he's well prepared for everything he does, with the exception of guest appearances on Miller and Moulton and classrooms along the Northeast Corridor. He's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, the Two Great Podcast. Seth, give a great talk.
And change your shirt.
Go Devils!
It's your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our Diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Takori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd. Only at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Roy.
Hi, guys. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good, thanks. Despite last night's overtime loss.
Yeah, your team isn't on a skid, though. My Red Wings have gone on a little skid. Yeah. They got whacked by Chicago, too, on Sunday.
Yeah, they did. Man, I thought the Wings were going to be a little bit better after that. I mean, obviously, the first game was awful, but then they had a pretty good run. I thought they were going to be pretty strong. They still
I like that they're losing with kids, though. I'd rather them do that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Thursday, although final hour of the show in Live Oak, Lake City and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's time for Roy Cummings. He covers the Bucs. Bay News 9, Miller and Moulton. Joining us once again on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Well, the injuries are catching up with them. Can't just rely on Baker and his magic anymore. They're playing good teams. Roster's just as good, if not better, than theirs. And, well, they're starting to lose some games.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch for them, for sure. And as you said, the injuries are starting to show up. I mean, Baker hasn't thrown the ball downfield much the last couple of weeks. And Todd Bowles admits it's, look, when you don't have Chris Godwin, when you don't have Mike Evans, teams start paying more attention to the rookie who's playing very well, and that makes it harder to do. Plus the fact that, Baker's obviously not getting protection the way he was. He's not a running threat the way he was. There's just a lot of little things adding up to really limit the Bucs offensively in particular. Thankfully, the defense has stepped up. It's kept them in some games here. But look, when this three-game stretch started a week ago, we thought 2-1 through this stretch, you'll be in good shape, really good shape. Still got a chance to do that. Tough one, obviously, this week at Buffalo, but they can win it if they figure out a few things. Got to be a little bit smarter about how they go about it, I think.
Bucky Irving came back to practice. Does that mean we're going to see him Sunday, Roy?
The way I usually see it, when a guy comes back to practice, especially if he practices, it usually means he's going to play. How effective will he be? How good will he be? How much can he play? Those are the big questions. So I think he'll probably be active. Much like Luke Gedicke came back and then he played, I think, when guys are ready to play, they usually get in there. And if guys are ready to practice, they usually get in there and they play on Sunday. So I think he'll be limited, but I think he plays a little bit. And then it's really just a matter of feel. How does he look? How effective is he? As Todd Bowles said this week, he's got to get banged up a little bit. That's probably not going to happen in practice. So he's going to have to, it could be, he might get, a limited amount of duty.
It's kind of the game within the game here, though. Buffalo's run defense has not been good this year. Miami's running game, Dolphin fans will say, well, when he actually commits to the run, it's been pretty good. But the Dolphins' running game on a whole has not been that good, usually because they don't commit to it. They committed to it last week. They ran the ball for 200 yards. And if you're the Bucs, and yes, it takes time, and you might fall behind, but isn't this the opponent that, you know what? We need to commit to the run this week. It would keep Josh off the field, and they're vulnerable against the run.
You pretty much said it all right there. Number one, team that's not very good against the run, coming off a week where they really struggled. They'll probably try to tighten that up. But as we've said all along, we think the Bucs have one of the best running back rooms in the league. And if Bucky Irving can be a part of that, great. But, we've seen what Sean Tucker can do. We've seen what Rachaad White can do. I think if you commit to it, it's a great idea because, first of all, the weather's probably going to be bad. Forecast is 42 and drizzling. Reminds me of Detroit every time I went there, virtually it seems. But no, 42 and rain, that's run football weather. So I think that's what the game plan should be. The other thing it does, in addition to keeping Josh Allen off the field, it probably limits the number of times that Baker Mayfield gets hit. And Baker admits that, he's not quite as healthy as he has been. We know he's been banged up, and maybe the bye didn't do as much for that as everybody hoped because he's still not running the ball, and he says he's not running the ball because he can't quite get up to speed to do it. So a week where he's handing it off, 45 times, not a bad idea, really.
Well, you have been as high on the running back room as anybody that covers the Bucs. Without Bucky Irving, that running back room has not been the same. Do you think they need to go to Tucker more? Because White, while he's great coming out of the backfield, catching the ball, running the ball, I don't see as much juice there. Tucker's averaging more per carry. I think he had more yards than White on the ground last week, despite playing in far less plays. Do they need to make that move and give Tucker the ball more?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think you saw a little bit of it last week where he came in a little bit earlier than you would normally expect. And you're right, Rachaad White still a little sketchy in terms, is he better outside? He's certainly better, running between the guards and tackles now than he was when he first came into the league. But he's a bit of a slicer, Run him off tackle, and he's fairly effective. He's great in space, which makes him a great option for, screen plays, things like that. But yeah, I would like to see more of Sean Tucker. But if you've got Bucky Irving, and even if Bucky Irving only is good enough for 12 carries, well, those 12 carries could be really helpful because it gives the other guys, first of all, it gives you a different look every time you hand the ball off, which is effective. It gives you a chance to get Sean Tucker a break so he's not getting beat up too much. And maybe you can run the plays that really work the best for Rachaad White. So the key to me is getting the ball in Rachaad White's hands in the right way, which is in space, running Sean Tucker a little bit more often and a little bit earlier, and, mixing in a little bit of Bucky Irving if you can do it.
Let's talk what the Patriots did. They made 4 big plays in that game. I mean, you could take a look at this. Like Drake May barely completed 50% of his passes. Trevion Henderson had 12 carries for 23 yards. He had 2 carries for, 125 yards. They had a 54-yard pass play. They had a 72-yard pass play. They made 4 really big plays. Not a lot of teams gashed the Bucs the way the Patriots did. How much credit after watching the Patriots do you want to give Drake May, the coaching, Henderson, etc.?
Well, I would give them all the credit they deserve, which is a lot. They outplayed the Bucs. There's no question about that. And you know what? When Rod Marinelli was with the Buccaneers, he coined the phrase "pound the rock," because sooner or later the rock's going to break. And that's what you do in the running game. You pound the rock. You keep working it until somehow, some way, a seam opens up and you take advantage of it. And that's what the Patriots did. It was old-fashioned football. Nothing new there. They just, you keep pounding that rock, and sooner or later you're going to hit it just right and it's going to break. And that's what happened. They got those 4 big plays, a couple of them in the running game. And, yeah, that's unlike the Bucs. But, every defense is going to get caught, in the wrong gaps at some point. Somebody's going to miss a tackle at some point. You put it all together on one play, and all of a sudden you got a 47-yard touchdown run. So, yeah, that's exactly what happened, and I think teams will continue to try to do that. I think some teams will look at the Bucs now and say that they're vulnerable against the run. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I still think they're easier to pass against. But I give the Patriots a lot of credit, about 85-90%. But the Bucs were just a little bit off on a couple of those plays, and they got to tighten that up.
No doubt. And I'm with you. I mean, it was one big run by Henderson. Other than that, the Bucs have another, and you can't dismiss it, but the Bucs would have had another great day from a rushing defense standpoint, which gets me to where I want to go. The Bills run the ball better than anybody in the league. Cook's a weapon. So defensively, we know you have to stop the run, but will they man up the receivers? Because Buffalo's receivers are not good. They're average at best, and I think that's a stretch. So how would you defend Buffalo, Roy?
Yeah, I think you just said it right there. It's what the Bucs don't like to do, but I think you got to man up in this case. Bring somebody extra into the box, dare them to run, and then stop them. Look, the Buccaneers think they're as good as any team in the league against the run. Statistics back that up a little bit. So I don't see a problem with, putting your strength against their strength and saying, okay, who wins this game? It may not be a high-scoring game. As I said, the weather's going to dictate a lot of things in this game, and if it's 42 and raining, well, there's a real good chance both teams are going to run the ball. It could be a lot of old-fashioned football here. We may not see, 35 passes between the two of them. So, I think the Bucs have to put an extra man in the box, bring the safety down, challenge them to run, and just show that you're better than they are. It's what Vince Lombardi used to do. Yeah, we know everybody knows what we're going to do, but we're going to do it better than you. So go out there and show that you're the better team. I think I don't have a problem with that defensive strategy at all.
Any concern that the division is still up in the air? Because the Falcons were 6-3 last year and had swept the Bucs, and then they had a month to forget, and next thing you know, Tampa Bay is repeating. They're 3 ahead of Atlanta, and they've already beaten them once. The Saints blew, by beating Carolina blew a golden opportunity to get within a game of Tampa. Are you still operating under the assumption that the NFC South is a foregone conclusion and we're really playing for seeding here?
Yeah, don't feel that way as much this week as I did a week ago. Had the Bucs won, obviously, then you think, okay, they're in great shape. But I still think the Falcons can turn things around. I think Carolina's on the rise here. I think they're a team to watch. I like what they're doing despite the loss last week. And the Bucs are, let's face it, they've kind of flatlined a little bit here. They're like they're like a stock that's gone flat. So not really on the rise right now. Still nursing their wounds. This is a time when the Bucs are vulnerable. Look, we hoped during this 3-game stretch that they'd go 2-1. That could still happen, but they could also go 0-3. And if that happens, all the Falcons and Saints and Panthers need to do is win one game in that mix, and all of a sudden you've got a real race down the stretch. So, yeah, nowhere near as comfortable as I have been about this team winning the division. I still think they're the elite team in the division, but at the end of the day, I think they've got some work to do, a lot, actually.
All right, let's hit you right where it hurts. Your Blackhawks are off to a great start. Connor Bedard is the real deal. Yeah. I mean, he is right now. Are they a playoff team? Because the West is not as good as the East, but they right now would be a playoff team if the season ended today. Can they continue playing a little bit over their skis?
I think they can. I think they can get the 8th seed, but they can also miss it by 4 points or more. Look, it's still a work in progress there. There's no doubt about it. What you like is that they're playing very well. Still, the second half of last night wasn't that great. But Frank Nazar is not there, and you can make the argument he's their best player. The kids are looking really good. Bedard is the real deal, as you said. But you know what? The West is a bit topsy-turvy. San Jose's good. Anaheim's really good. So, yeah, there's a lot there. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you in the NHL, because, boy, would they love the Blackhawks in the playoffs. Roy Cummings on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, it's one thing to fade Miller and Moulton, but when I'm getting texts during an interview saying when Roy's going bet the under or play the under, and I'm getting texts going, take the over now. I'm like, come on.
Why would they say that about Roy?
Oh, they literally, you know who the degenerate gambler is that listens to the show. Roy's talking about could be a low scoring game. I get bet the over come across my text line. I'm like, 48.5 right now. I'd bet the under in that game.
Huh.
In fact, I did with him for lunch. Had a very nice gesture done to me last night.
Okay.
And my wife. We went to P.F. Chang's for dinner. I was in the mood for some sort of Chinese appetizers.
Right.
And we went and sat at the bar. And for those of you that like P.F. Chang's, apparently Wednesday is half off wine night. And wife got a bottle of wine because you can just cork it and take it home if you don't finish it. And there was a space. We were the only ones sitting at the bar when we got there. And then a couple sat down with a space between us. And then like 4 or 5 people sat down at the other end. And 2 guys walked in and they wanted to sit at the bar. And these people were holding seats. And we're like, we had food in front. We're like, we'll move down. So we slid our stuff down one so they could get 2 seats. And the bartender was like, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And they were like, thank you very much. And whatever. So we finish our meal. We actually ordered some more food. We have a drink. And the bill came, and she said, the guys next to you bought your bottle of wine.
Oh.
Literally for moving. And here's the thing. They weren't from here, which I knew right away. Because people from here wouldn't do that. They would just expect you to move.
Where were they from?
They were from Virginia Beach. They said they were 2 guys. I don't know if they were pilots. I didn't dig that hard. They said they were with the flight crew and they were there for a couple of days. I don't know why you would be stuck somewhere for a couple of days, but so yeah, that was very nice of them. I gotta say, the bottle of wine with the half price might have literally been cheaper than what you get that bottle of wine at Costco. I would guess David's never recognized in Jacksonville.
No.
Here, very rarely for me, occasionally. Sometimes when I start talking to people after a while, they'll go, wait a minute, are you...
I was frequently recognized because I was on television. Then I did FGCU, ESPN broadcasts that were televised for 10, 12 years. I wrote columns, and so my picture was in the paper for 10 years. So I got recognized a decent amount. But no, it's been quite an adjustment moving from the 239 to the 904 in every way. But the family made a lot of sacrifices for me over the years, so it was my turn.
It's where I live, Logic Man. Youth soccer. And fortunately now I don't have to stay for gymnastics practice. It's a drop off and pick off. It's glorious. It's the only thing I like about that.
There was no choice left hooks. There wasn't a decision.
But the answer would be yes.
Oh, in capital letters and 18 exclamation points. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. You know, we've talked a bunch of NFL storylines for this week that's passed and that will be upcoming. But I don't know, Mark. This is, we talk usually middle of the week, the Wednesday, Thursday-ish about, what kind of a football weekend will it be? Well, first off, there's a 9:30 Eastern game if, you like it, and it does involve the Dolphins. And if there are still a few people that want to see them win. But Chargers-Jags, we mentioned it earlier. It's a very big game for playoff implications.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. Bucs and Bills. For the Bills, the game's even bigger. It's big for both teams. But right now, can the Bills lose many more home games? I don't think so.
I don't know how many more games the Bills can lose at this rate and win the East. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment. But Bears-Vikings.
Big game for both. The Vikings think they're still in this thing, and they are. But Chicago, we talked about how difficult their schedule is. I mean, there aren't a lot of go win the game because you're better than the opponent games for Chicago left. So these division games are monstrous for the Bears and the Vikings.
Seahawks-Rams in Los Angeles.
Could be for the 1 seed.
Could be. It's certainly right now for first in the NFC West, since they're both 7-2. Chiefs-Broncos.
Monster game for the Chiefs. I mean, it's big for the Broncos. But if the Chiefs think they can win the division, to me, they've got to sweep the Broncos, David.
Well, and for those, and let's face it, there's some real Chiefs fatigue out there. Okay, for as much as we all admire how great Mahomes is, okay, this is 7 straight appearances in the AFC Championship game, 5 Super Bowl appearances. There's a few people that are a little tired of Kansas City. You throw in the tight end and who he's engaged to, and some people it's great, and some people are like, oh, for goodness sakes, enough already. If Denver can win, the Chiefs are 5-5. And they've already lost to the Chargers and Jags, who will either be tied or ahead of them, no matter what happens in the Chargers-Jags game. And then can we actually start thinking about life with the Chiefs not in the playoffs? You brought up the top of the division that, if the Broncos want to win the division, win your home game against the Chiefs, even if you lose in Arrowhead, could go a very long way for you being AFC West champs. By the way, have you looked at the spread?
Oh, yeah. Chiefs are favored by more than a field goal.
Right. They've won 7 in a row in Denver.
3.5.
Denver's won 7 in a row. And the Chiefs are 5-4. And Kansas City's a 3.5-point favorite. If you're Sean Payton, how much are you playing that up? The no respect card, the whole deal, or listen, it's the Chiefs and you don't need to go down that road.
I don't think that an NFL coach goes down that road with the division game. I really don't. I think that they're laser focused on the job at hand, if you know what I mean. I don't think that, maybe at some point when he's speaking to them, he brings it up, but I don't think it's a focus. I think the focus should be get your offense working, because it's not right now.
Sunday Night Football, Lions-Eagles. So we've got Lions-Eagles, Chiefs-Broncos, Seahawks-Rams.
Can the losers in Detroit, Philadelphia, and Seattle, LA get back to being a 1 seed? I mean, is this the opportunity? If Detroit loses, have they lost their chance of being a 1 seed?
Obviously, the answer is no, but
But you know what I mean.
Right. Well, here's the thing also for the Eagles. The Eagles will have beaten the Rams and they will have beaten the Lions. And if you think Green Bay's got a renaissance coming here, they've beaten them. Okay. You know, if you're trying to be the one, you need to win some tiebreakers. And head to head, the Eagles would be in really good shape. I don't know if they play Seattle. Like, I'm trying to think if the Eagles play the NFC West.
I don't think that they do.
I don't think they
I
do.
know that
so,
they don't.
So their crossover game was the Rams, but, you know, also it's a conference win. You know, you just add those suckers up. That comes
Rams and Seahawks play. They still have to play twice. This is the first
Right.
meeting between the two teams. So, yeah, see, you know, the other one can beat and they can split. But I do, like, to me, for Detroit, if they want to be the one, I think they have to win Sunday night.
I agree. I agree with that. Lions, Eagles, Chiefs, Broncos, Seahawks, Rams. Not at the same level, but as important. Bears at Vikings. Bucs at Bills. Chargers at Jags. I mean, that's a really good NFL Sunday in mid-November.
By the way, these are off the radar, but Carolina and Atlanta, if either one of those two teams thinks they're going to get back in the race because they think the Bucs are going to come back to the middle, if you know what I mean, that's a big game there. Pittsburgh, you already lost to Cincinnati. You damn well better win on Sunday if you have any hope of holding off the Ravens.
You know, if the Texans are going to get back in the wild card chase, they're in Nashville. I gotta win. Make it 3 in a row. Get to 5-5. You know, okay, then you got some division games left. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I mean, there's interesting games, but I'm talking about they've got 6. There are 6 really good. I mean, you know, Mark, sometimes you talk about light heavyweight matchup. I don't know. I think we've got 6 heavyweight matchups to varying degrees. How about 2 cruiserweight matchups and 4 heavyweight matchups?
I'm so happy you went cruiserweight. I really am, because I had it in my head. I was thinking it. And the cruiserweight division, like the penny, has kind of disappeared, David.
Right. It was created to be the division in between light heavyweight and heavyweight.
And it's it was the wrong name all along.
Right.
Cruiserweight. What sounds intimidating about that?
Right.
But yes, there are some heavyweight battles. And the good news is they're kind of spaced out for us. You know, Jags and Chargers, Bills and Bucs, Bears and Vikings. They're all 1:00 games. Rams and Seahawks and Chiefs and Broncos are in the 4:00 window, and then Lions, Eagles Sunday night. So, you know, you can get a lot of good football at different times on Sunday. It seems like it's an all-day event. It usually is, but this week even a little more so.
So Thursday night football tonight, by the way, Patriots with a 7-game winning streak. They are, in fact, this year's Commanders. Hell, they may end up with a better record at the rate they're going. 7-game winning streak, and the Jets are coming to town?
Patriots have the Jets tonight at home on a Thursday. We've talked about the home team on Thursday when you get into the latter half of the schedule, how important that is. Then they go to Cincinnati and they host the Giants. Could a 7-game win streak become a 10-game win streak?
And by then, can they even then afford to lose at home to Buffalo and still be in first? And not just because of tiebreakers, but because they're still a game clear of Buffalo.
They have the Ravens after that, but they finish with the Jets and the Dolphins. What the Patriots could accomplish this year is pretty historic coming from where they were a year ago. There's a good look at what's going on Sunday. We'll take a look at Saturday's action next.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Deadstroke, I don't know. There's it should be this. I mean, it should be the same. Are you watching on your phone or are you watching on a computer, Deadstroke? That would be my first question, because they have been asking a few questions and David sets up the stream. So I don't know exactly what it is that could be going on. Yeah, it shouldn't on your computer, because it's now asking us to put two different things in, like a vertical and yes, we are. Haynes, we are. So I don't know. YouTubers out there, does it look normal to you on your computer screen, and is Deadstroke just having a out-of-body experience? Because I don't really know what you guys see. And Feeney, according to the people at 1070, it is broadcasting, because I have been texting with them. It's fine on my computer screen, Deadstroke. There are 2 YouTube channels? Interesting. Oh, yeah, there are. I don't know why that there are. There are definitely 2 channels. David, when you set up tomorrow, you may not want to. Right now, we're broadcasting on 2 separate YouTube channels. There are 2 live streams. So whatever it's asking you, we may not want to do.
Well, it only asked me the one day.
Okay.
And I went with what they recommended because I didn't know the difference. What they had on the screen, I had no idea what they were talking about.
I can't change it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till JP Shadrick will join us at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A bunch of poll questions today.
Yeah, I was going to get into them with Seth, but we had a better conversation than asking him the questions that are on the poll question. He was kind of on a roll today, so I let him go. The guest speaker. Yeah. What are you talking? Seth Everett is speaking to a class today, a college professor. He does teach college courses at 2 different universities. And a college professor asked him to speak at his or her class. We asked Seth what he was talking about. He goes, I think podcasting. Wow. That's something. I think podcasting. I hope he was joking. All right. Poll questions today. Scooble or Skeens? Who would you want to pitch for your team for the next 3 years? Skeens getting 3/4 of the vote right now. For what it's worth, I voted Scooble, not because I'm a Tiger fan. He has pitched in bigger games, and he's done well. For the next 3 years, I'd take Scooble. If it was the next 5, I might take Skeens. Don't know if I'd sign Scooble to the big contract he's going to get.
Oh, see, and I put that into consideration. Like the reason I voted Skeens was Skeens is on a rookie deal, so to speak. I mean, the next 3 years will be years 3, 4, and 5. He's barely arbitration eligible, while Skeens has got 1 more year under contract, and then you're going to have to pay him like $40 million a year.
Fair enough. And then today is National Dream Destination Day. Doesn't that sound lovely?
It does.
In fact, I was listening to a friend of mine that I played golf with yesterday tell me about a vacation he was just on. And he does pretty well, but he didn't even pay for it. Someone else did. And I heard about that, and I'm like, I don't even dream about destinations like that. But we turned it into sports, and we gave you 2 different questions. We gave you one, basically annuals. Final Four, Masters, Derby, and Super Bowl. Masters with half the votes. And then which non-annual sporting event would you most like to attend? Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics, World Cup, Ryder Cup. Right now, World Cup winning, Winter Olympics second, Ryder Cup third, Summer Olympics last. Boy, would my wife be pissed if she saw that vote.
Well,
the gymnast fan that she is.
Our demo is not exactly the demo for the Summer Olympics.
And we've got a lot of hockey fans, so that's where I think the winter games come into play. So those are the questions. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. If you are not on X and you want to cast your vote, you can simply text us on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. That is 21,000. The number is 21,000. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text the keyword Miller. Text Miller to 21,000. Then the gate is open, and you can let us know anything you want, like this gentleman who simply said, Sabres lost again because they suck. Yes, sir, they do. Yes, they do. How does that owner get one franchise right and one so wrong?
Well, and the Bills fan is beginning to lose their sense of humor about being the bridesmaid.
I know.
So that the anger towards being the bridesmaid could then really spill over to the, my goodness, we're the worst franchise in the NHL and we're tired of it. I mean, the Sabres playoff drought, I believe, is the Jets playoff drought. It's either the same or 1 year shy. And that's closing in on a generation of fans. Because the Jets haven't made the playoffs since 2010. This is going to be 15 consecutive years that the Jets are going to miss the playoffs. The Sabres are at 13 or 14 consecutive years missing the playoffs. So they're either tied or only one behind.
14 seasons. Their last playoff appearance was the 2010-2011 season.
Okay, so this will be the same. It'll be 15 years for the Sabres then this year. So the Jets and Sabres are tied. 15 years they're both going to go without even making the playoffs.
You know how hard that is in the National Hockey League?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right. We talked a little Sunday. I don't know if it's as heavyweight of a weekend on Saturdays as it is on Sundays, but there are some big, big games, David. There really are. Noon kick for our Tampa audience. It's actually a big one in the American. South Florida in Navy. Curious what you think about that line. South Florida's a 9.5 point favorite in that game. That seems like a lot to me.
I think there's two things at work here. The line tells me that maybe Navy's quarterback isn't going to play.
Right. That's
because I'm thinking if Horvat's playing, that line's closer to 5.5. So that's the first thing I'm taking from that. The second thing is that South Florida scores points. I mean, the only team they haven't scored points on this year, they scored 18 against Florida and they scored 13 or so against Miami. But when they've played teams their level, so to speak, even when they lost to Memphis, they scored in the 30s. So the thought is South Florida is going to get theirs. Can Navy keep up? Now, I will say one of the first big road wins that Golish had, it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was either his first year or his second year. I think it was his second year. They fell behind Navy in Annapolis 14-0, came back and won. We had him on the very next week and talked about, hey, that seems like a bigger win than, normal, if you know what I mean. He's like, yeah, we, haven't won a lot on the road lately, and to come from behind, yeah, it was a big win. Well, now this is the biggest game that Alex Golish has ever coached in as a head coach. Because if they win, Mark, they're in the conference championship. They're not going to lose another game. If they win at Navy, they're going to be 10-2 with one conference loss, and they're going to be playing in the AAC championship game. And doesn't that game get determined? Doesn't somebody get home field in the AAC?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could host the conference championship game. That's a big deal.
Absolutely. Think about where they've come from in such a short time. The job that Alex Golish, if he can finish this and get this done, it is one of the great turnarounds. Obviously it's not at the level of Indiana, but for a group of 6 team, their turnaround is damn near unprecedented. All right. The other big noon game, and I use that term, but it's not on that network because they're advertising like it's got them. Can't miss big noon. It's Michigan at Northwestern. Put me to sleep. However, the line in that Michigan-Northwestern game is less than the game that features Notre Dame and Pitt. Two ranked teams. Notre Dame on the road, they are a 12.5-point favorite against Pitt. Wow. That's a big number for a road team. And Pitt's playing pretty well right now.
Well, they're playing very well right now. And if you just look at Pitt after the West Virginia game when they made the change at quarterback, Pitt's been a completely different team. And Mark, the reason why you and I also, I believe, feel that 12.5 seems like a lot, may not be, but seems like a lot. Pitt, since making the quarterback change, has scored 27, 48, 34, 30, 53, and 35.
And this ain't last year's Notre Dame's defense.
And so now, don't get me wrong, Pitt's defense reminds us a lot, and Bud Elliott pointed this out yesterday, of the USC defense. Now, USC got, a fourth down stop and a turnover, but for the most part, Notre Dame just lined it up and ran it down USC's throat. And they may do the same thing to Pitt. They may have 6-minute drives all day that end up in touchdowns. And Pitt can't keep up.
Right, and Notre Dame can score. I mean,
Yes.
Notre Dame scores points. I think their lowest output this year is in the loss against Miami when they had 24. Next one is that clunker of a game they played against BC.
But they jumped up 2 spots in the poll.
Yeah, well.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then obviously USC and Iowa at 3:30. That's a big game for USC. And it's a big game for the Big Ten. Big Ten needs USC to win this game. They want to get 4. Their only chance is for USC to run the table or Michigan to run the table. Michigan's going to be a big dog when they play the Buckeyes at the end of the year. But USC, they've got to beat Iowa. They've got to beat Oregon. They've got to beat UCLA. So it's no easy march for the Trojans, but they're about a touchdown favorite against Iowa at home at 3:30.
And we used to play on this show with a producer from a few years ago, John Cassio, in which we would play Guess the Network. Mark, don't know if you've noticed. Did you check out the network that the Iowa USC game is on?
Well, seeing that it's at 3:30, I would have assumed that it's your game. That's a CBS game.
One would assume that. And you know what happens sometimes when one assumes.
Right. The only reason I know it's not is that we had Gary on the show, Gary Danielson, that is, on Monday. And he told me on Monday where you guys are going. And I was shocked because for a moment when he said he was going to East Lansing, I went, who are they playing?
And it really doesn't matter because we shouldn't be there. But Iowa at USC is on the Big Ten Network at 3:30 Eastern.
And CBS is going to give you Penn State at Michigan State. Do you hear that? That's crickets. That's nobody watching. That's a friends and family game.
That's a pair of 3 and 6 teams, and I believe both of them are riding 6-game losing streaks. And very quickly, the reason why is every team has to appear on the Big Ten Network once a year. And apparently USC hadn't been on. And so the game got designated a Big Ten Network game. And it's CBS, Fox, NBC, CBS. One network has first choice, one network has second choice, one network has third choice. CBS this week had third choice. But they took the Iowa USC game off the board and assigned it to Big Ten Network. Remember, Fox owns over 60% of the network.
But we get Oklahoma and Alabama at 3:30. Obviously, if Oklahoma wants to be a playoff team, they've got to go to Tuscaloosa and get a win on Saturday. And Tennessee, David made the case yesterday. They just need to get one of their big 2, and they're a viable playoff team. Is that one in Athens on Saturday night when Texas plays the Dogs?
There are a lot of teams that just can't screw up this week, though. Okay. It's not a big spread. but can BYU rebound at home and beat TCU? It's a late Saturday game. They're expected to. Obviously, Ohio State can't screw up against UCLA. They're 33-point favorites, but we've seen 126-point favorites screw up against UCLA. You know, Utah's still in it in the Big 12. They got to go to Waco and beat Baylor. They're expected to. It's a Baylor team that's playing for their coach because it looks like they're going to try to fire Dave Aranda. You know, Georgia Tech on the road at BC. Texas Tech at home against UCF. Cincy at home against Arizona is not an easy game, and Cincinnati's ranked, and they're still in the Big 12 chase. You know, Mark, you mentioned it. Michigan. It's not going to be easy. They don't score a lot of points, but go to Northwestern and get the W. A&M can't screw up at home against South Carolina. Indiana at home against Wisconsin. Ole Miss at home against Florida. Miami at home against NC State. There's a lot of just don't screw it up this Saturday.
I'll give you one, and it's because my kid went there, I pay a little bit of attention. But just a sneaky American game, Memphis, East Carolina. East Carolina still has a shot at the title. Memphis has 2 losses. They would have to have a lot of things break their way, but it's a sneaky good group of 6 game. So that's a little look at Saturday. Obviously, we know the big games. They're pretty much all SEC, with the exception of the Big Ten Network with USC and Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Enjoy East Lansing, David.
And not only that, the game's in L.A. and my Monday night game's in Vegas. I mean, it would have instead. Yeah.
That Delta flight from Detroit to Las Vegas will be just fine, David.
It leaves at 7 a.m. Sunday morning.
No chance for you to get to Rick's American Cafe after the game on Saturday, then. Miller and Moulton. We gave you a bunch of poll questions to vote on. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote. When we come back, we'll talk Jags with JP Shadrick on Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Takori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd, only at the Diamond District.
the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, JP.
Good morning.
Hey, man.
How we doing?
Hanging in there.
You gonna get to Bodie's Chop House in Lansing, Dave?
Never been. I'll have time because I'm probably going to get there, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Bodie's downtown
Tomorrow.
Lansing, like a few blocks from the state capitol.
Okay.
That's must be, well, I've been gone a long time from East Lansing, so I don't think Bodie's existed when I was there.
It's good. I recommend it.
All right.
What kind of a joint is it?
Very small. There's probably a
Steak?
Yeah. Oh, a steak. Yeah.
Okay.
Chop house.
Bodie's?
I bet there's like 30 seats.
So I should probably call.
Maybe. It's been a few years. It's probably, when did I go in there? 21, 22, somewhere in that time frame. It was the night before the Michigan at Michigan State game where Kenneth Walker III ran for 5 touchdowns. And Michigan State won the game. It's been a while.
And after yesterday, they get to keep that win, right? That one still counts.
I think that one still counts.
Yeah, I think it's 22 through.
Maybe that was 21. I can't remember.
21 still counts. Apparently, everything else doesn't.
So, what are you staying in EL on Friday night and then Detroit on Saturday?
Yeah, we have to. They make a promise to a certain hotel that they're going to hold X number of rooms, and so yeah, I wanted to stay in Detroit both nights, but I'm staying in Lansing Friday and Detroit Saturday at the
Airport Westin.
Bingo.
Yeah, love that private hotel TSA right there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, that is fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
You know, it's funny. If you stay there, you could actually get a pass to go in the terminal and eat in the airport at the restaurants inside the airport.
Ooh.
David, oh, now they're on the road. Too bad to say the hockey team's playing Notre Dame Friday, but they're in ND.
Oh. And Hoop's not home, are they?
I not on a Friday night. I can't imagine they'd be playing Friday night.
I bet LA's nice this time of year.
It's hysterical.
Marina Del Rey, it'd be nice down there. You just pop over by the,
And I will say they put us downtown at a very swanky hotel. It's like too swanky for me. You go upstairs, have a salad and a water for $63 type deal, but yeah. And the LA to Vegas, flying out after the game too, getting into Vegas on Saturday night. I mean, who would have wanted that? To have Saturday night and I have a buddy there and then all day Sunday and Sunday night. Right, who would want that?
I don't know anybody in their right mind that would want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the biggest game in Big Ten Network history? Iowa, Southern Cal?
Well, you could argue the first game they ever did was the biggest App State, but yes, it's got to be 2 ranked teams. They can't imagine they had this.
Yeah, they don't get this.
It's got to be very rare, especially with 2 other networks.
Right.
Usually ahead of them now. Used to be just one.
As Coach Bowden once said, that's a dadgum good.
Okay, Greek god, which station?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour, the fourth hour of Miller and Moulton, heard in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and Fort Myers, Naples. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. JP Shadrick joins us at this day and time. 14 years you've been with the Jags?
This is my 14th season, correct.
Okay. Was that the most painful regular season loss during your time?
I think considering
just everything.
Let me talk through it here, Dave. I've been trying to talk through it myself all week. So I still haven't got to a conclusion. So I figured today was a good day to come to a conclusion.
Sure. Final verdict got to be reached then. You got 12 minutes. Go.
Considering they were 5-3 and right there, this number 7 seed, and the Texans had a backup quarterback and a backup right guard and right tackle and a rookie left tackle, and it was a 19-point lead. Yeah, it's right there near the top. It's got to be. I mean, Jags have had other really bad teams and bad losses with those bad teams. Like the Patriots scored on every possession one time with Tom Brady and put up 50 until the kneel down at the end of the game. That was in the Gus Bradley era. That was a bad day at the office. But you had an idea that kind of thing was probably going to come with some of those teams, right? This is supposed to be a team that's, okay, maybe they're on the verge of being ready for primetime, you know? They beat the Chiefs. They won some games earlier in the year. Right. Okay, but then they let a collapse like that happen. It's the biggest blown lead in franchise history. They've had a bigger blown lead in a win before, believe it or not, in London against the Bills in 2015. They were up 24, lost the lead, won the game, Blake Bortles era. But in a losing result, 19 is the biggest one. It just can't happen. It's everybody involved, the defense mainly, because of those backup guys. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't stop the run on the final drive either. They mixed in the run, the final drive, and they were just moving down the field like a normal drive, no big deal. And then Davis Mills on 3rd and goal from the 14 scrambles, front left pylon for the touchdown, unacceptable. And the offense had 1 first down in the 4th quarter. They just went dead. So it's everybody's at fault. And I don't think the sky is falling in this building, but it's a big game this week against the Chargers, too.
I get in the building. I think it's falling from where I sit, but I'm a long ways away. Talk to me about the 4th quarter play calling. What did Liam Cohen have to say? 2 3-and-outs. They didn't get anything done there. Is there anything that he said that he would have done differently? Is there anything you thought they should have done differently? Because while you can focus on Mills being able to carve up the defense late, we talked about it on Monday, JP. If they get 1 first down, 2 for sure. If they get 1 first down, the game may have been different. And they went out, and they went out quickly on their 4th down possessions.
Yeah, I don't know if they should have just run it in the line 3 times and killed a minute 40 in 2 possessions. That would have, that's 3 minutes of game time. It would have been valuable. That's too extreme, clearly. But, okay, maybe run a little bit more. They got away from some of that. But at some point, your players have to go execute and make plays too. The quarterback's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And you got to go will your team to a first down or 2 at some point. Find a way, whether you got to run for 7 or head first dive or force it into a tight end, backup tight, whatever the answer is to that. At some point, those guys have to go make plays. They had injuries on the offensive line as well, but guess what? So did the Texans. So they got the job done.
Listen, it's one thing to criticize Trevor because he turned it over too much his first few years, because he did. That he wasn't accurate enough, because he wasn't. Now people are starting to say things like, he just doesn't have the want to. There are just others that are better gamers, if you know what I mean. And that's really, when you start saying stuff like that, you are questioning someone's athletic soul, whether you realize it or not. Do you think those comments are fair?
Well, I think you add to the fact that the quarterback and the head coach this week had a conversation, and Liam Cohen shared it, or some of it, with the media this week, saying, hey, we just need you to sometimes just let it rip. Don't be that there's a little bit of hesitation, like he's almost scared to throw an interception. And I think this group would be like, hey, we'll take an extra interception a game if you hit 3 of these passes down the field that are designed to throw there. Now, in terms of the gamer stuff, I think when they're in 2-minute and he doesn't really have to think about it, he just has to go execute, and they're running to the line and they're doing, everybody's hurrying up there. You know how it goes. You snap the ball, you run the play. Okay. And even at the end of last week's game, he took the sack, then he ran for 21, and then he executed the throw on the sideline to even give them a chance. It would have been a 61-yard field goal, but it's a chance with this kicker. And in that moment, he executed those 2 plays. I'll give him that credit. However, there was a hands to the face that negated the pass, and the game was pretty much toast at that point. So I think that's an aggressive thing to say about a quarterback. I think he's still got it. I think it's up to this coaching staff to find it and to nurture it and to grow it. And we're a long way from done. Let's put it that way. I'm not burying this team yet because they're 5-4. And even if they lose this week, 5-5, they've got the schedule ahead. If they just kind of keep it together and keep working and improving, they've got a shot.
Early in the season, they were creating an unbelievable amount of turnovers. They're still getting some, and that seemed to help everything along. But offensively, there's been one constant. They can't stay on the field. They're one of the worst third down teams in the league, JP. And when you look at that, again, is it play calling? Is it a matter of down and distance too? I mean, is this a stat that they're just getting behind the chains too much? Because when you're going to be a playoff team, to me, you can't be 25th in third down conversion rate.
Well, you usually can't be, 32nd in the league in penalties either, or number 1 for the most penalties accepted. There's a lot of that too. Now, some good teams have a lot of penalties sometimes because they overcome it, and it's just an aggressive style of play. That's not the case here. I mean, they have 83 penalties accepted, tied for the most in the league. Sometimes those are self-inflicted. False starts, illegal shifts. I mean, we've seen all these things all season to set them back to 1st and 15, becomes 2nd and 9, becomes 3rd and 7. Or, 1st and 15 becomes deeper than that, because a sack will happen or whatever. So that's, I think, a lot of the third down. It's the down and distance. There's moments where Trevor's put it on his receivers and they've just dropped it too. I mean, all this is combined. There's not one formulaic answer to this because it's all combined in one thing. They've got to clean up penalties. They've got to run the ball better on first down when they aren't committing penalties to set them up for 2nd and medium, and then now you're off and running.
Is it fair to look at Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon now that it's been many weeks? There was a couple of weeks there we was playing with a club and say, guys, we're like at the bottom in sacks, and we're paying you guys a lot of money. You're supposed to be getting sacks. Even pressures. I mean, where are you guys? I mean, I'm stunned at the Jags sack totals. Stunned. Are you?
12. That's tied for the least in the NFL.
Right.
There's 2 players in the league that have 11 solo sacks. So do the math on that. And these guys are getting paid like those guys. So
right.
3 of the top 5 cap hits for the Jaguars this year are on the defensive line. The 2 guys you mentioned and Eric Armstead. Armstead's actually putting together a few sacks this year. It's still a little inconsistent there. I'm curious what's next. I mean, what else do you do? They've tried with 4. They can't get home with 4 consistently. They tried blitzing with a 5th. Couldn't do that last week consistently. Is it, more of a rotation with they have young undrafted guys that they're really high on, Danny Strigo and BJ Green. You rotate some fresher, younger legs in. Like Agba hasn't done anything for this team. A veteran guy who's been around, the rotational guy. Smoot, you could argue, hasn't done a whole lot either. So do you start a different kind of rotation? Do you put different guys down and give other guys an opportunity? At the end of the day, you can do all that you want. Josh Hines-Allen is supposed to be a premier pass rusher in the NFL. Trayvon Walker is the number 1 overall pick, and the same thing. And he had a sack. He had 2 sacks, in fact, in his hands last week. One of them was negated by roughing the passer, and the other he just let slip out of his one good hand. He still has a little brace on that wrist. It's not – the fingers are free, but it's not a full thing yet. So do you move him inside some, Walker, because he seems to be a little bit more of a mismatch inside. All this is up in the air. When Liam Cohen says we're not going to stick with status quo in the pass rush, something's going to happen, whether it's scheme or personnel, or you ain't going to go find a warm body on the street these days, but something's going to happen different this week.
And when you look at where the Chargers are, this is another offensive line that's all banged up. I mean,
come on, Mark. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, last week was, this week's worse. I mean, Justin Herbert's one of the most hit quarterbacks in the league, and he's still second in the league in passing and completions and attempts. He's number 1. You better get to the quarterback this week. And when you get there, get him on the ground. Can't let him slip away like Walker did this last week.
He also was victimized by a horrendous call. He did have a sack, and they called that roughing the passer. It's a disgrace. And it was a key.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, come on. He's bigger than that guy. It was unavoidable. It's garbage. I'll stick up for him there. The rest of the season I won't, but I'll stick up for him there. Very quickly, we got 45 seconds. You went through the room. Are they over this? Because Mark's worried that it's like the Bears when they gave up the Hail Mary against Washington last year. They won 1 game the rest of the year. The room. Are these guys 30 seconds? They going to show up this week?
I think they'll show up this week. I think that'll be the challenge for Liam Cohen the rest of the season, though. If things don't go well, it's avoiding the same old Jags syndrome, right? And that was in the locker room before. Let's be honest. They collapsed a lot in the past years. So he's fighting that week over week with the guys who've been around here. That's why when you lose a guy like Travis Hunter, who's new to the equation, who doesn't have that, who has this unbelievable energy, that's a huge loss for this team and for the head coach. So I think it's a week-to-week thing, but I think they'll show up. Yeah,
right.
Why not?
JP Shadrick, Jags Radio Network, Touchdown Radio Network, Westwood One. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick here on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I had to laugh there. I put this graphic up with the commercials, and JP just added himself to the screen. I think I didn't put him up there.
Huh.
Unless I hit a button and didn't mean to, but I mean, I've got to make a pretty good effort to do that.
Yeah, robes.
Where are you in East Lansing?
At the Graduate.
I don't even know where that is. It's probably new.
I'm not a fan of the Graduates. It's supposed to be kind of a rustic college feel. I don't know. Doesn't work for me. But then again, I have become a bit of a hotel snob. That's the only thing I'm snobbish about in my life, I think.
All right, you're right on Grand River. You're right near Abbott. All right. I would say I think it's the Roadhouse, because the Roadhouse pub's in front of it. The Roadhouse is a bar that I think you would like. Not too far away.
Okay.
I don't know if it's within walking distance, though.
It depends, Logic Man. I mean, I don't drink any alcohol. If I use the minibar, it's for this show. Like, I need breakfast food. I need something. I need caffeine because I don't do coffee. So, some weeks I make a stop on Sunday and I'll bring all that stuff to the room and put it in the fridge and what have you, and I won't spend anything. But, the prices are obscene. So when I do end up using it and I have to use it for 2 shows, it's probably $50-$60. And that's on me. That ain't picked up by a network. For a lot of things. Yep.
They always have it in mini bars, though. That's not a new phenomenon.
No.
That's not a whatever inflation. I mean, the fact that prices have gone through the roof on everything, mini bars were well ahead of the curve on that.
They were.
They were gouging before gouging was in vogue.
I will say airports have taken it to a new level too. They were always expensive, but now they've gone overboard.
Have they? Me. I try to avoid. I don't like flying anymore. People are rotten. People used to be wonderful in airports. People were in a good mood. Even business travelers were tolerant. People are nasty in airports now. They never used to be nasty. I don't know if it's discount airlines and more people fly. I don't know what it is.
I just think people are miserable. People are angry about their lot in life, and they take it out in a lot of different areas now. But you're right. Like what happened to you yesterday, like you know me, I'm great on the road. And I'm very nice and accommodating, and it's amazing how stunned people are these days when you do it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Lively show today. Lot going on with Seth Everett, Roy Cummings, and JP Shadrick. If you ever miss Seth, Roy, JP, or any of our guests, you can always catch the show, millerandmoulton.com. Mark does a tremendous job of
podcasting every hour as soon as that hour ends and posting it. So you can listen readily. MillerandMoulton.com. And JP and all our guests are on the American Paint Supplies hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
So the poll questions are up. They have been throughout the show. We have a bunch of them today because I was feeling it.
Yes, you were.
But who do you want on your team for the next 3 years to pitch, Skubal or Skeen? Skeen's getting nearly 80% of the vote. It's National Dream Destination Day. We put 4 up for your dream sports destination that are annual events. The Final 4, the Masters, the Derby, and the Super Bowl. I'm losing big. The Masters is running away with it as expected with nearly 44% of the vote. The Super Bowl is next. Final 4 in third, and the one I chose, the Kentucky Derby, has less than 10% of the vote. And finally, since we did the annual events, we did the ones that are not annual. Olympics, summer and winter, World Cup and Ryder Cup. The World Cup getting 48% of the vote. The Winter Olympics in second place. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton to vote.
So I voted Skeens because he's much cheaper. He's not that he's much better. I think they're very comparable pitchers, but and the fact that, Skubal's left-handed might give him an edge in people's minds. Skubal is going to be a free agent in a year, and he's a Boris client, and Skeens is not eligible for free agency for 4 years. So that's why I chose Skeens. The finances involved. I will say, by the way, if I was a team, I would offer Pittsburgh the farm because I get 4 years of Skeens before he can leave at the earliest. Never mind if I'm the Yankees and Mets. I think it's pretty obvious, at least if he stays with his current girlfriend, they're going to make New York home. Okay, she bought a place. Cash. All right, so, I mean, if you're the Mets and Yankees, it's why I would have no problem. When the Pirates keep saying we need more, I'd have no problem stockpiling more on the offer. I really would. It's 4 years minimum, and I'm competing really with one other team to keep them beyond that.
That's a great point, David. Now, who knows if her real estate buy will crash over the course of the next few years, but that's for another show and another topic. Right. I couldn't help it. I really couldn't. We don't go there, but it was an easy one. Low-hanging fruit. Guilty as charged. I'm sorry.
That show is noon to 3. Our guest list is right. But that's why if I were the Mets or Yankees, I'd go crazy. I'd be wearing Ben Cherington out. I'd be wearing him out so much, I might force the Pirates owner to spend money on the team. I mean, seriously, because the word would get out what I'm offering for Skeens. And it might be so big that you might have Pirates fans actually going, wow, take the offer. I mean, if you're not going to spend any money, you might as well take the offer. If you're not going to take the offer, well, then damn it, spend some money.
Here's the question I would have for you. Either New York team, David, you follow this, particularly with your team, way more than I do and would ever care to. What do they have on the farm, if you will, to offer? Because remember, they're not paying Skeens hardly any money. The Pirates aren't going to take on payroll.
No, I know.
So when you're offering everyday players, you're telling Pittsburgh that they've got to increase their payroll by 20, 30%, and that's something they won't do. So I don't know how you put an offer in front of them that is, I made them an offer they can't refuse. You know what I'm saying?
I think the Mets would be better equipped to make this offer, and that's not because I'm a Mets fan, but they've got 3 pitchers that are either ready today or are going to be ready tomorrow to pitch in the majors. And so the Pirates would have 6 years of control of 3 good young starters. Not Skeens, but 2, 3, 4 in your rotation type starters.
Right. And I know the one guy for the Mets, they expect to make the big club this year. I did see that earlier this week.
And the Mets have 2 guys at the major league level with 2 years of service or less that are bats and are position players that could really help the Pirates. Okay. So I think the Mets could put together a very attractive offer. And I'm not just saying that as a fan of the team. I'm saying if they're remotely considering trading him, I actually think the Mets could make a very good offer. The Yankees would practically have to empty the farm.
Right. And that's the only reason, because I get what you're saying, but you also have to factor in just how damn cheap the Pittsburgh Pirates organization is.
Right.
When you're making, because we're giving you 5 players. Well, I'm not taking the 5 players because that's $70-80 million in payroll, and I'm not paying it.
There was a story I read recently that, the GM meetings are taking place in Vegas this week. Then the GMs all go home and they talk for 3 weeks, and then maybe some stuff gets done at the winter meetings in December, or Scott Boras holds everything hostage and nothing happens till mid-January. But I did read a story a couple days ago in which the early word out of Vegas is that the Pirates and Marlins may both spend a little bit. Like they may go get one player, if you know what I mean, that the Marlins may just get a bat to complement their pitching. And yes, Alcantara's on the market. Okay. And the Pirates may go get at least one bat to complement what they got going on.
All right. No one cares anymore, so we're going to spend 30 seconds tops, I promise. But we did this skiing Scooble question because they both were awarded the respective Cy Young awards in their league. We'll find out tonight who the MVP is in the American League. You and I would have both voted for Cal Raleigh. Mm-hmm. We both think Aaron Judge is going to win, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure you're with me.
Yeah.
I would vote for Raleigh. A lot of it having to do with the fact that he played catcher. Aaron Judge's numbers, you can't argue with how damn great they were.
By the way, it's not just that he played catcher. He didn't have a pass ball all year. I mean, he's not a bad defensive catcher. Just because they call him the big dumper doesn't mean he's like a fire hydrant behind the plate. He's a pretty good catcher. Oh, yeah, and he hit 60 homers on a team that won the division. Because I know whatever he did in the playoffs, and he had a great playoff. In fact, Aaron Judge would kill to have a Cal Raleigh playoff, although he had a good 4-game series this time around. But
no one else did, though.
Right. Ironically.
He was great.
He was it.
Yeah. No one else was.
Right. But, yes, you and I would vote for Raleigh. You and I both think Judge is going to win. Whoever finishes second, it's going to be an historic second-place finish. Because the season that they, to think that somebody could put up the season that they each put up and not win their league's MVP, it's like when Ted Williams hit 406, but DiMaggio had the 56-game hitting streak, and reporters didn't like Ted, so they voted DiMaggio the MVP. He had 406.
By the way, just a quick sidebar. I mentioned it on the air yesterday. Found out my son had appendicitis. He had it out yesterday. He's going from the hospital. He's fine. But I was texting with him this morning because Marvin Harrison Jr. had the same thing happen yesterday. He had appendicitis. He had to have an emergency surgery. My son's leaving the hospital, and he texts me, he goes, I don't know how the hell Marvin's going to play in the next 2 weeks. I'm sore as all get up. I have no idea how that guy's going to play. So that's the type of research we give you on this show.
There you go.
Find out when Marvin Harrison Jr. returns to action for Arizona. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when and what's on tap. It's all next right here on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
There it is. I get this email every day that just has a bunch of crap on it, but every once in a while there's something useful for this show. But it says the 12 wildest cooking shows on Netflix, and I hadn't heard really of any of them except for the last one that my daughter found. Is It Cake? It's fantastic. I love Is It Cake. That's all I got for you. The productivity of a daytime nap. Huh. Is It Cake's awesome, Logic, man. I think I've watched every episode. It's sensational. It is a good little show.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. We're out of here. That's it. Bye-bye. So long, farewell for the day. Because, there have been times where we were gone for more than a day and more than a weekend. 2 or 3 times, in fact. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Full show tomorrow, as you would expect, on a Football Friday. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin. All right. I think I'm going to get a preview of the Navy South Florida game also.
All right.
Not a lot of time, but, you could argue it's the biggest game that involves any of the Florida schools. I think it's bigger than Miami and NC State.
Biggest South Florida game since they hosted, West Virginia all those years ago that we were at that game?
Yeah. Is this the biggest regular season game? Not, the result, because like when Skip Holtz's team went to Notre Dame and won. But I'm just talking about national ramifications, not early in the season, not midway through a season. Is this the biggest regular season game for South Florida since Jim Leavitt was coach?
Oh, yeah. I think so, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So there you have it. So
they have UAB and Rice on their schedule after Navy.
Yeah, it really should be WW 10-2, 1 conference loss. They've beaten North Texas. They will have beaten Navy. They will have... and Memphis has 2 losses. I mean, I don't know how, if they win out, they don't appear in the conference championship game. And if they appear in the conference championship game, I don't know how they don't host it. So, yeah, I think it's a big deal. We're going to have somebody to preview the game. And we'll have Jay Lucas, the new young head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. They're playing the Gators in Jacksonville Sunday night. It's nationally televised. But for those in the Jacksonville area, something to do on a Sunday night. Anyway, Jay Lucas on the show tomorrow.
You lose to the Chargers and have to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your day.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Prove me wrong, Jags. Prove me wrong. David, it was today in 1789, in a letter from Benjamin Franklin that he writes, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. 1856. Big Ben first chimes outside the Palace of Westminster. Look, kids, Parliament. Today in 1927, the Holland Tunnel, which connects Manhattan to Jersey City, opened at midnight to thousands of cars waiting to drive through the world's longest underwater vehicular tunnel. Earlier that day, 20,000 pedestrians walked the entire length of the tunnel. I think that's gutsier than doing it in a car. Got to be honest with you. I'm sure, tested, safe, whatever. Walk through the damn thing? No.
Well, especially back in 27.
Right.
This a little New York metropolitan joke. Mark, 98 years later, the construction is still going on, and the delay to get through the tunnel is still the same.
1940, Walt Disney's animated film Fantasia premieres. 1976, Rod Stewart's Tonight the Night hits #1 in America for the first of 8 weeks. Rod Stewart, yes or no?
Me?
Yeah. Fan, not fan, that's all. I'm just asking.
Fan.
I like Rod Stewart. 1979, in Kansas City, the Sixers were playing the Kansas City Kings.
Correct.
And Daryl Dawkins goes over the top of Bill Robinson and dunks the basketball, shattering the glass backboard. Glass everywhere.
First time it had been done.
First time it had been done. Dawkins said later, it wasn't really a safe thing to do, but it was a Daryl Dawkins thing to do. 1982. First, kind of a bad story, but you have to do it. It was today in 82 during the day, I believe on CBS, that Ray Mancini would beat Duck Koo Kim by TKO in the 14th. He would die 4 days later. It would cause the WBC to shorten title bouts to 12 rounds. It would take 6 years for the WBA and WBO to follow and 7 years for the IBF to do it.
I believe it was a Saturday afternoon. It was the CBS Sports Spectacular, and they aired that fight in its entirety. It was Tim Ryan and Dr. Gil Clancy, and Gil Clancy spent the last 10 minutes of the fight begging them to stop the fight.
Also today in 82, the debut album of Men at Work, Business as Usual, hits #1 in America. It would be #1 for 15 weeks. It would be dethroned by Thriller from Michael Jackson. Sonny and Cher performed together for the final time today in 1987, singing I Got You, Babe, on what other show but Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh, man, the musical guests he had. I saw a clip yesterday. Mick Jagger did the top 10 on Letterman. I just, come on. This got to be kidding me.
Today in 1990, at the Off-Ramp in Seattle, Temple of the Dog play their only show. Members of Soundgarden and what would become Pearl Jam, the group was formed as a tribute to Andrew Wood, the singer of Mother Love Bone, who died of a heroin overdose. Today in 92, Riddick Bowe wins a unanimous points decision over Evander Holyfield. It would be their first of 3 fights.
A tremendous trilogy that has somehow, some way been overlooked.
7 years later, Lennox Lewis would beat Holyfield in 12 in a unanimous decision to become the heavyweight champ. Eminem released Lose Yourself today in 02, first rap song to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song. And you Wu-Tang fans, today in 04, ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, died of a drug overdose. Robert Louis Stevenson, Buck O'Neill, Gary Marshall. And by the way, Gary Marshall, writer for the Dick Van Dyke Show, producer for The Odd Couple, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and film director of Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, and The Princess Diaries. He, along with Mel Stoudemire, those four would have all celebrated birthdays today. Sabres fans, you remember this guy, Gilbert Perreault. He's 75 today. Remember when he played on your team and you were good?
You were really good and exciting. People wanted to watch the Sabres.
Whoopi Goldberg is 70, Vinny Testaverde 62, Jimmy Kimmel's 58, and Meta World Peace is 48 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Well, today was very eventful in 82. You mentioned two things that happened. The third was the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated today in 82. And it was 5 years ago today, Kim Ang named the first female general manager by the Marlins.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, we go to Australia today, and every day there's a damn Guinness Book of World Record broken by some moron that needs to do it. But this one, to me, is worthy of the good. Because in Australia, 374 bagpipers played AC/DC's It's a Long Way to the Top to break a world record. The previous record was done in Belgium when 333 bagpipers, rather in Bulgaria, did it 13 years ago. But not only did they get 374 people to play the bagpipes, they did AC/DC. That's a win. For the bad, we go to Fort Myers, where I don't understand this guy. I really don't. Because the Lee County Port Authority received multiple calls from a single number. At first, it was just a person breathing on the other end and pushing buttons. Then the Lee County Sheriff's Office received a call from the same number with a male voice saying, giving a bomb threat at the airport here in Southwest Florida. Turns out that the caller was David Smith, and he was scheduled to fly into RSW from Rhode Island. He turned himself into police as the result of an active warrant for false reports of a bomb. If you're flying to the airport, why? Whatever. Finally, the ugly, we go to Alabama, where parents were shocked when kids were dropped off at their normal bus stop. And the parents thought they were going to have to wait a moment because the bus stop was on one side of the train tracks. Where they pick them up was on the other, and there was a train there. The conductor of the train told the kids, just crawl underneath the train instead of waiting for it to move. One woman said she was shocked that the conductor would tell the kids, including her 6-year-old granddaughter, to do that. Fortunately, the train didn't move, and my guess is all the kids thought it was pretty cool while the parents were losing their mind. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Thursday, November 13th. It's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Cape Coral Police Department hiring new officers, great pay, great benefits, overtime opportunities available. For more information, where do they go?
CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
Patriots and Jets. Big number tonight. Big. 12.5 is the number right now that I see. I think the Patriots win. I did get a texter saying this is going to be Dolphins Bills from last week. The Jets will upset them. I'm taking the money line. I respect your craziness, but I'm going to take Vrabel at home. The question to me is, well, will they cover the 12.5?
Well, do you think they'll get to 24, the Patriots? Because I don't think the Jets are going to score much. I just don't. I mean, they don't have a passing game. And I don't know. I think the Patriots defense will shut them down, that the only way the Jets score is through turnovers and special teams. So believe it or not, I would be inclined to lay the points.
They're telling you what, 43 points. So what is that?
So they're saying that's 28-14 is 42. So,
right thereabouts, 28. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
I think I would be inclined to tease it down to 6.5 and tease the over under up also to 49.5 and lay the 6.5 with the Patriots and bet the under.
Nothing like a 2-team teaser or 2-bet teaser on a Thursday night.
College football tonight. There's one game, ESPN 8:15, Troy and Old Dominion, 12.5 the line there as well. 7:30 ESPN, Troy and Old Dominion. Hey, 7 o'clock tonight.
Beat me to it. Yep, we got a good one in college hoop, David.
Purdue is at Alabama on ESPN2, number 2 and number 8. Alabama just went to the Garden and beat St. John's and scored over 100 on them. Purdue,
they're always
Alabama.
Fun to watch. Alabama's a fun watch in college hoop.
Yes, and your Spartans in action on Big Ten Network tonight at 6:30, and a name the score game against San Jose State.
Panthers hosting the Caps tonight, 7 o'clock. Lightning played last night. They got whacked, so they're off tonight. See if my Red Wings can get it going. They host Anaheim. Stars and Canadians, pretty good game as well for you hockey guys out there.
No NBA tonight unless you're watching NBA TV. There's only 3 games in the league. And Toronto at Cleveland's the best game of the night. It is 3rd and 4 nights for the Cavs and back-to-back.
But they rested everybody last night, so
that's right.
They may play tonight. I mean,
yeah, load management and all. They're not making enough money. All right.
Football Friday edition tomorrow. We already outlined it during the show today. It is a terrific Sunday of football. I mean, heavyweight matchup after heavyweight matchup. And Saturday's no slouch either, particularly in the SEC. We'll have Lee Sterling on the show. We'll make our picks. Pat Kerwin on the show. Jay Lucas, the Miami Hurricanes basketball coach. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Football Friday tomorrow.
At the Diamond District, we know what you want.
Experience wall-to-wall diamonds during our Diamond event, November 21st through 23rd.
This is our biggest event of the year, featuring an expanded collection of GIA certified diamonds, designer jewelry, and exclusive collections from Takori.
This is the perfect time to start your holiday shopping.
More diamonds, more choices. November 21st through 23rd. Only at the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton